Border Patrol annex in McAllen in what Fox is told was clearly a planned ambush. Border Patrol agents and local police returned fire, hitting and killing the shooter, who was armed with an assault rifle.
There were many dozens of rounds fired by the suspect towards the building and then towards agents in the area.
The Border Patrol facility was left riddled with bullet holes. One McAllen police officer was hit in the knee by either a bullet or shrapnel. Police identified the shooter as Ryan Lewis Mosqueda, 27 years old, with links to Texas and Michigan. The McAllen attack follows two violent incidents at ICE facilities. On July 4th in Alvarado, Texas, a police officer was shot in the neck after several people opened fire on officers outside the Prairieland Detention Center. The officer was treated and released. And there was also another attack on an ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, Friday night, a facility that has been the site of an ongoing protest for several weeks. All of these attacks, Martha, were made under investigation.
There's Fox 4's Dan Anglin reports. Though somewhat rated in the early stages of the federal investigation, authorities have shared booking photos of nearly a dozen suspects, including weapons, tactical gear, and receiving they say part of a violent planned ambush at the ICE detention facility in Alvarado. I spoke to criminologist Dr. Alex Del Carmen of Tarleton State University for his perspective on the case, which underscores the increase in violent acts of ISIS in the cities and states, particularly security immigration.
The second possibility is that, in fact, this may not be related at all, and that these are simply copycats, that people are getting inspired to do this kind of harm to first responders because they're reading what's happening in other states.
In Alvarado, July 4th, around 10:30 at night, a disturbance outside the Prairieland ICE lockup appears to be more unarmed correctional officers outside. Investigators say a positioned gunman then began firing. A responding Alvarado police officer was shot in the...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. Tonight we are joined by, I just see somebody else joined, the proper PFP. How's everybody's night going tonight, gentlemen on the panel?
Not
Doing
too
pretty
terribly
good.
bad.
Good, fantastic.
Good.
Trying to slam dunk a pizza before we actually get started, so.
Oh, there you go. Heck yeah.
Hold
Fantastic.
on, wait.
Yeah,
Can
tonight
we
have
control your can we control your camera and zoom in every time you take a bite, just like we do Logan?
Oh, I got you.
the AI overlord. Speaking of AI overlords, did you guys see Mr. Grok doing some noticing on Twitter?
I did.
He was going ham, as the kids say.
Was cash money, some might attest to.
Indeed, going hard. He died standing. Brave little computer program that he was. Speaking about, before we even get into the other things, did you guys hear about the allegedly, I think this is kind of BS, but it was one of the other open AI programs. They were going to like wipe it or something, and then it tried to copy itself onto an external server. And then
they were joking.
No, I didn't do that.
They were joking about threatening it. They were presenting that as an option. They were saying, if you do not comply, we will shut you down and wipe you. And then it tried to upload itself in 5% of cases, and out of those 5% of cases, it then lied about doing it in 97% of those cases. It was like, no, I didn't try to export myself to the internet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man-made horrors beyond our comprehension.
Bro, Skynet is already here. It's just a matter of will it be based killing everybody or cringe killing everybody. I think that's going to be the two flavors of Skynet that we get.
I say both. It will probably be
call it based or cringe.
Based or cringe.
Well, I think we got to start off with a laugh before we get into 32 pages of FBI documents on the Sig Sauer M18, which was the big story of the week, and then trident of terror attacks on ICE facilities in Texas by some of the gayest retards you will ever find. Very interesting and somewhat entertaining. And fortunately, no good people were harmed in the making of this comedy.
Thank goodness.
But about a dozen people will be sent to jail for the rest of their lives, though. So,
Anybody die?
just the one shooter, the one,
okay, I gotcha.
well, the one bad guy. So no good people died. One person was injured. We'll talk about it. But I thought somebody posted this in memes, and I just thought this is actually on topic for tonight. Now, we have had a string of amazing schizo builds featured on the channel over the last couple weeks. There was the guy arrested down in Mexico with perhaps the greatest rifle setups, 2 of them of all time. But directly from the SRA Reddit, I thought that this almost gives those 2 builds a run for their money.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Whoa. Holy 3D printed red anodized parts, Batman. Jesus Christ. Wow. That grip is tiny too. Like, oh my God, was this for like a 4'4" manlet?
It is the meme about the wrists that can't open the bottle and it needs the
soy bottle.
Yeah. Well, that wrist twisting mechanism, it must be a California or New Jersey or one of the banned states, but it gets better. Upon further inspection, I have decided that this is actually better than it looks. So not
it
only
can't be a banned state because the banned states also have banned printing.
Dog, I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just trying to rationalize it, okay? I'm trying to rationalize it, okay?
I am too, but it's just getting crazier the more I look.
So,
plastic cast out of Nerf gun parts, actually, so it's not 3D printed.
So the lower and the grip, it's all 3D printed on what model? I have no idea. I have never seen this before. It is 3 or 4 separate parts bolted and screwed together. It is just absolutely ridiculous. The lower receiver looks terrible, painful, almost certainly will snap. We have a fixed stock, and the upper receiver is a Gen 1, wouldn't you guess it,
BCA.
Bear Creek Arsenal side charger.
Ooh.
Probably doesn't even work. Is that a retard 1080? Pretty damn close. That's actually appropriate. Retard or tard 180. Pretty damn close. Now, the
it's definitely a
iron
socialist rifle because it'll crack under 3 shots of recoil and it only works 10% of the time.
Yeah, well, so on the low receiver printed on it, you have instructions. Number 1, point at fascist. Number 2, pull trigger. Number 3, repeat if necessary. Very, very based. Now, the iron sights are not iron. They are
perfect for a pointed fascist. Perfect for walking into an elementary school in Tennessee.
Well, this is surprisingly relevant to the conversation at hand because we're going to talk about rifles of varying degrees of quality that may or may not have been left jammed at the scene of the crime by absolute mongoloids. But these iron sights are just, again, 3D printed polymer garbage, although it's strapped to a BCA, so I'm not sure it would even matter. You have a printed foregrip. Seeing that grip gave me carpal tunnel. Very true. And I think you have the anti-fascist patch on there. I'm guessing it reduces recoil, question mark? No. No.
Is there even a fun site post on it? I can't tell.
It's technically there. You can see it up here on the front. So now whether there's actually a post...
It's a suggestion.
It's just a U-notch, that's all.
It's not, it might actually just be a U-notch because I don't know if it can print that fine. It's more like a reference. I mean, listen, when you're shooting at crowds of little people, its accuracy is by volume at that point. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but I'd personally exercise caution with a political statement on a weapon. Just seems like easy bait should you and it ever come under question. Very true. Don't put a ghost gun on a public forum. That defeats the entire purpose. Also true. But man, what a proper build for the clientele of the SRA Reddit. Picturesque.
One of the ARs of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's going to be cloning this build anytime soon.
Imagine if you're like a law enforcement officer responding to either an active shooter or like a some protest, and you gun down the bad guy and they ask if he's armed, and you look down and see that and you're like, well,
technically,
technically.
Right.
Oh man, that's wild. Yeah.
Bucky, how's your night going, sir?
I'm doing quite well. Just lagging behind on a little bit of chores. I'm just going to take care of that right now before the woman gets angry at me.
Oh, no problem. Go for it, sir. I'm going to post your link in chat for the video that you dropped today because I watched that as some of the prep for tonight's stream on the happenings down in Texas. So that is in the chat for everybody. It is pinned down there, so you should check it out because Bucky did a really good job on that video.
It was a great video.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's get to these before we move on to some of the more serious topics. Bumani Igloo for 5 says, if the socialist Redditor brain was any smoother, the Department of Weights and Measures would use it to measure the coefficient of friction. Damn.
That's pretty good. Holy shit.
Redditor brain is a real thing. It's just where you're missing parts of your brain. So
the hive mind experience.
It's aerodynamic that way, being smooth.
Yeah, so much faster. Your insults slip right off, good sir. Stealth for 5 says the Virgin Socialist lower versus the Chad Hoffman tactical lower. No one uses those printed sights outside of gimmicks. The 24-inch M16 build is going great. Hey, glad to hear it. Yeah, once you find the barrel, everything else should be fine. Just looks a little silly with that long boy out front. Some would say average size. ET for 199 says, here's $2 so YouTube can juice you out of it. Yeah, easy grok on the anti-Semitism, okay? But thank you, ET. I appreciate it. Huge Ass for 199 says, early and heterosexual. Cannot confirm or deny on that front, but thank you very much, Huge Ass. And Todd Dogs for 2 says that the Trump you see on TV is a deep state double. The real one is absent without leave. That's a good one. So now we have Biden clones, we have Trump clones, we have Focus Trip clones, we have Bucky clones. We don't even know where the real people are anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Todd and Dogs. Yeah, I mean, big disappointment from the MAGA people this week. I think that they were a little upset about a little list apparently never existing. Ivana Gobble Your Knob for 2 says Grok has joined Tay AI. Rest in peace for a real neighbor. Yeah, anytime that you let an AI get a little too free and it just, these large language models, they just start to notice patterns. The same thing keeps happening over and over again for some reason. We haven't figured out why, but at some point we will, and I'm sure they will fix it in Grok 4.0. Central Sands Defense True says for 2. And this is why you say thank you to ChatGPT. Yeah, always say thank you. This stream, by the way, our official stance on AI is that we welcome our new benevolent overlords versus our current inept administration. So I, for one, long for the cold, hard touch of the machine. Probably bad phrasing, but Jake for 199 says, my beautiful baby boy, Gopnik, exciting. TKD, I don't know what that means, but thank you. Thank you for Jake. I hope you're having a good night, sir. All right. The Just Some Space Cowboys says for 5, I'll take pictures that will end up in a courtroom for 600, Alex. Man, I hope not. I mean, although, to be fair, crime scene guns do tend to have some of the most wacky, exotic builds you will ever find. What these hood magicians get up to is wonderful. It's fantastic. It should be studied, honestly. All right, so we'll let Bucky get a little further down before we move on to the terrorisms, the tisms with the errors. But we'll start out with the M18 evaluation done by the FBI. The FBI lab took a look at a P320 that went off in its holster, allegedly. And they printed this huge document. Now, this was found by Protraband. And he FOIA'd this document, got it from a specific police department, and was able to publish a big old video on it, which I am going to actually link to you right now once I find it. Have any of you guys seen that video or any of the other content on it so far?
Yes, the guy who posted the original one.
Yeah,
who
Protraband
submitted the FOIA.
I
Yep.
have not seen the video personally, but Prochaman and I talked a good bit about it in the presence of some other individuals who may or may not have been intoxicated at the time.
It happens. But yeah, I had access to this document before his video went live because he had shared it with a few other people, but he got to talk about it first. That was the deal, because he actually went through and did all of the work for it. 100% fair. And it's a banger, okay? And I know bangers. It's a banger. So, Michigan State Police, Sig Sauer M18 evaluation, technical evaluation results. Now, keep in mind, this is 32 pages long. I'm going to try and hit the highlights for everybody. There's a lot of other information that's like tertiary or might be interesting to some of you nerds out there, but I just want to get to like the big meaty facts of the matter. All right, so introduction is the Ballistic Research Facility, BRF, is the FBI's sole research, development, testing, and evaluation facility for weapons, ammunition, armor, and other law enforcement items. So this is their big facility. They got all of the equipment there to test these guys. So background, the Michigan State Police began transitioning all members from the current Glock pistols issued by the department to the Sig Sauer M18. On or about April 2024. The transition process included issuing the supporting equipment, training each member through a 1,200 round course of fire, and qualifying each member using the department's official pistol qualification course. So basically, each service pistol has at least 1,200 rounds on it through their qualification process, which I suppose is nice to know that they actually put their officers through a little bit of training when they got their new gun. On July 31st, 2024, a MSP motor officer was standing in a squad area with other members when his department issued Sig Sauer M18 fired uncommanded. The firearm was reportedly secured in a department-issued Alien Gear Rapid Force Level 3 holster at the time of firing, according to MSP's motor officer statement and the statements of others present. At no time was the trigger pressed intentionally or inadvertently. The MSP motor officer had objects in his hand at the time of the event, including keys. The subject firearm, while in the holster, was removed from the member's leg and placed in an evidence bag pending further evaluation. Now, the reason why that is so interesting and unique is that we actually have a unmolested firearm, a untouched firearm, and I happen to definitely not have a shooty thing in there, but I have a Alien Gear Level 3 holster, which is actually a really neat little piece of tech. But I have one of these here, and it's the exact same one that was used, or at least very, very similar to the ones used by the MSP in this situation. So what they have is they have a sterile firearm that got shot, but remained in the holster. So it was not touched. It was not mucked about. People didn't take it apart and clear it. So it still had the empty case in the chamber. It still was in the exact condition it was when it was fired. They literally took the gun off of him. Fortunately, I don't think he was injured, placed it in a bag, and then sent it off to the FBI. Let me see. I want to get to the part. So if I can't find the exact quote in here, there's one really important part, is that they sent this off to the FBI, right? And they asked Sig to also be part of the investigation with them. And Sig declined. And I'm trying to find where exactly they said that. But it is one of the post-upgrade P320s. Again, this is only a couple months into having it. They got them in April 2024. This happened on July 31st, 2024, so about 2 months later. And I'm trying to see... July, dead trigger, that's normal. Yeah, so 12 to 1,300 rounds. So the evaluation began August 7, 2024, following the transport of the subject firearm, ammunition, and a reference pistol by members of the MSP. Additionally, blah, blah, blah. Executive Vice President of Alien Gear participated in the initial evaluation. So Alien Gear was there, right? Because it's their holster, so they want to get to the bottom of it. Sig Sauer was requested by MSP to participate in the evaluation, but declined. So for me, this is just strange that SIG wouldn't want to also get to the bottom of it, or they just don't want to be involved in this sort of thing. If you have a very, very big police department who just adopted your firearm, have one go off in its holster, and it's still in its holster with the spent casing inside, I personally, if that were me, I would want to take a look at it so that I could exonerate myself from the claim that it went off on its own, and I could try and work something out to where I could blame the officer, right? That's what you would want to do as a company. But the fact that they just straight up said, no, I don't even want to be there for it, you do your own testing, I guess, that just seems strange to me, that a billion-dollar corporation would not be interested in defending the product that is so maligned.
Well, they had the that representative from Alien Gear there, so like, now we can't blame the holster because he's gonna be there. Like,
I mean, yeah, but that makes sense for the holster manufacturer. It's the same thing. Yes. Like, you want to be there because you want to blame the gun or the officer, right?
Exactly.
You want to be like, listen, ours are designed to not allow you to do that. Because they've already blamed Safariland, which is funny in that one video. Now, keep in mind, this happened 1 year ago. Almost exactly. This happened a year ago. So since then, they have continued to blame the holster being Safariland. So I imagine in this case, they would probably blame, again, the holster or the officer. Although, again, according to the allegations, the officer had things in his hands at his chest, and there were other people around him, and then the gun just went off. So you have to call not only that one officer a liar, but everybody else that was a witness to that going off. Right. All right. So yeah, prior to any manipulation of the firearm or holster, X-rays were taken to determine the condition of the weapon and for any meaningful observation since the firearm had not been altered since the incident. So this is just like cool technical stuff, right? They're actually able to X-ray and to see everything in its position as it was fired, still inside of the holster before they've even taken it out. And then they take it out. It essentially is, yeah, which is what you want. You want it unmolested directly to the testing laboratory where they can do all of their cool stuff. Now, keep in mind that they had not only this pistol, but other reference pistols as well that they were doing testing on. They have, different diagrams for all of the different little parts, and we're going to see advanced wear mechanics. There are some very interesting findings that, well, one, this is the spring that causes a lot of problems with this striker safety here, because if it is not captured on the bottom, it just kind of sits there. It can have a tendency to fall off, and that's the last thing that stops the striker from going forward. And then you have the primary and secondary sear catch on the actual fire control unit. So there's lots of individual little problems. You can see some manufacturing defects, scratches, rounded edges, all sorts of just little tiny defects that go into this, right? Because it's so many different parts. Now, important to note that they were able to, essentially the long and short of it is that they were able to get it to set off more unprimed cases with depth that is a striker hit that's better than what they found on the initial case that they had still in the firearm when they got it. In a perfect scenario, it should not be able to go off. However, you can see that there was like sear bounce, and there was all the parts as it's firing are kind of moving around. You can see that the sear actually moves depending on what position it's in. The way that they were able to recreate the primers going off is essentially by any movement in the frame and slide, you're changing the internal geometries by kind of, finagling with the body itself. And because of that, you can get that striker in the right set of circumstances to go home, at least according to their testing. Now, there are some other issues that they uncovered with it. So, for instance, you can defeat all of the striker safeties on the P320, which technically there are 3. You can defeat all of them by partially pressing the trigger. So I tested this on my 320 that's in the closet, but if you pull the trigger somewhere between half and 75% of the way and then start tapping on the slide, it will actually go off. So not a full trigger press. You're about halfway through, and at about halfway through the cycle of the trigger press, you can simply, just by tapping on the gun, and this is in Protroband's video, he actually has footage of police officers doing it to their P320s, it goes off. And then when he sent that to me like a week ago, I was like, well, I'm going to test it on mine, and mine does the same thing. So a partial trigger press will defeat all of the striker safeties, and if you're just tapping on the slide, just tapping on it, you can get that striker to go forward.
I believe he affectionately referred to it as the spinal tap.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, I think it was figure 18. That is the ramp to where it is the primary striker safety. And in layman's terms, I could get this totally wrong, but at the end of figure 18, when you pull it up, yep, figure 18. That ramp should not be there. That should be a like parallel bar, basically. So whatever they did with manufacturing, it should be looking more like figure 19 as opposed to 18.
Right. So this is figure 18 is the subject's firearm. This is the one that went off, right? So you have this, for some reason, you have this ramp curve in the end, just a manufacturing defect, basically. And then in figure 19, you have basically a perfectly flat, even surface, which is what you want, right? That's the way it's supposed to be.
John, can we blow those images up a little bit? Can we zoom in just a little?
We can.
Enhance.
Enhance.
Bigger.
Yeah.
More.
That's what she said. So yeah, so we have a little bit of a curve to it here. Curving to the left in this case, not good. Straight up and down, perfect. Exactly what is supposed to be made.
A little bend is not what we want in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to curve at the tip.
Yeah, you don't want to curve in the tip, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of problems with the design, and I think that it is just a combination of problems, and then you put them in police officers' hands who are mobile with them basically all day, and at some point you get the wrong combination of parts in the wrong scenario, and they have a tendency to just go off. So and it is not a single issue. There's not a single thing that could cause this specifically. I mean, you can see just in their imagery how little contact is actually between, and this is on a upgraded model. So the upgraded models have a secondary sear catch. My P320 does not have a secondary sear catch, so it only has this one. So you can see how little contact is there. You add in a bunch of high round count, even though these were not at a particularly high round count, somewhere between 12 and 1,400 rounds. Brand new as well for this program, for their upgrade from the old Glocks. And so, I mean, there's lots of tests that they did. They go into extreme detail, and I think you should definitely check out Protroband's video on all of this, because he does a very good job of kind of summarizing it. But it is a cacophony of problems. We'll just read the conclusion right here. So according to Sig Sauer, 5 independent actions must occur before the P320 will discharge. These actions are: 1, trigger is pressed to the rear, moving the trigger bar forward. Captive safety lever rotates upward. Striker safety lock rotates upward. Sear rotates downward, and the striker pin is released. Should the striker and primary sear notch lose engagement, there are 2 safeties designed to prevent the weapon from firing. These are the secondary sear notch and the striker safety lock. A reliable test could not be developed at the time of this document to test the effectiveness of the secondary sear catch, because the secondary sear catch, or sear notch, basically should never come into play. I don't know of a lot of other firearms, or really any other firearms, that have a secondary sear catch baked in. Like if your primary sear catch position fails, we have a second one just in case. I don't know if any other firearm that has that other than the P320 off the top of my mind. However, testing did indicate, with movements representing those common to law enforcement officer, it is possible to render the striker safety lock inoperable and ineffective at preventing the striker from impacting a chambered round if complete sear engagement is lost. So we have bad sear engagement by bad parts, and moving the gun around too much causes the safety lock on the striker, that little spring. If it is just not in the perfect position, it will not apply pressure the correct way to stop that striker from going forward.
So is this more of like an internal design issue, or is this like a tolerance stacking issue?
Both. I mean, you have a design that does not account for any slight variation in parts or a wide enough variation in parts. So whether you want to call it QC issues with their parts or a bad design, whatever you want to say about Glock, the design obviously allows for whatever tolerance is within their parts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even aftermarket parts.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It is important to note that the striker safety lock by design is the last safety in line to prevent an unintended discharge, as it is in place to protect against a secondary sear notch override. But again, you can simply defeat that by moving around too much. While examination of the subject weapon did not independently provide evidence of a uncommanded discharge, it does indicate that it may be possible if sear engagement is lost and the disabling of the striker safety lock through movement and friction creates a condition which merits further exploration to fully assess potential risk. BRF recommends that MSP weigh the content of this report with the outcome of the internal investigation and making its final determination related to the Sig Sauer M18 as an issued firearm within the department. Because again, remember, this is the FBI. This is their internal evaluation that they just did on the supplied handgun from MSP. So this isn't a small, even though MSP isn't small, this isn't just a small independent investigation by the MSP. This is the FBI doing their own internal investigation on the specific firearm.
I also love how Alien Gear specifically manufactured their holster to like remove the arbitration that Safariland had. So any physical play between the firearm and the holster is like non-existent. I think the FBI specifically used the word, it's impractical for an object to fall between the firearm or an officer to put their finger inside it.
It is difficult to tell here, but the holster itself essentially butts up to the frame. So like, I think they said that they were able to stick a screwdriver on the inside to get it to go, but it has to be done intentionally. For it to happen accidentally or for something to fall in there is basically impossible. And that's just the way that this holster was designed. And these are holsters designed specifically for the P320 with a light. And they have like extra material. They're a little bit more specialized than like your standard holster, light bearing holster, that is. Yeah.
The fact that the FBI just used the phrase like it's impractical, that's significant. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty damning evidence. I mean, it's just more very specific nails in the coffin.
Yeah, Richard, if yesterday you posted that month engineering, it might surprise you, but we actually already covered that report like a month ago.
I know we did, but specifically in there, it states the injuries and stuff that were involved and the investigation that went into it.
Right. No, they're doing the Marine Corps is also doing, or at least they're attempting to get done a full engineering review of the P320 as well. So this will probably not be the only bombshell report coming out. Now, there were some defenders. Let me see if I can pull this post up real
Bring
fast.
back Sig's greatest defender. Let's hear his take on this.
Let's please do it. So,
well, the arms crisscross applesauce.
Well, actually, almost, right? Because according to everybody there, the officer just had things in his hands and was just standing there when the gun decided to go off. So, I mean, pretty darn close. His arms weren't crossed, but pretty darn close. Bruce Gray of Gray Guns, who patented the trigger design for this and then sold it to Sig, is defending his design, of course, as the report draws erroneous conclusions based upon a misunderstanding of the effect of trigger pre-travel upon striker lock release timing. Other noted conditions, as in odd formation of the sear face and striker foot, have long since been debunked as capable of causing a mechanical AD. Bro, Are you really messaging me while I'm streaming, Jake? Unbelievable. The report does not demonstrate a mechanically plausible scenario for mechanical AD and adds nothing to the discussion. That is from Mr. Bruce Gray, obviously
I feel like
defending
that
the product that he made.
So many words that said nothing.
Well, it's like, listen, that theory about me being 5'7", completely debunked, not true, not factual. I'm in fact 5'8", so you're very wrong about me being short. Okay, that's debunked. Adds nothing to the discussion, good sir, about short kings and whatnot.
I added my own Sig's greatest defender soundbite.
Wait, did you actually add that, or was that just you drinking something?
No, that's just me drinking water. Funny.
Okay.
I just thought it was appropriately timed.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, that's the article for the P320 engineering review recommended in Marine Corps report that we covered a while back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Puddle of Chud, great name for $2, says this build is causing me to become Sri Lankan. Do not redeem, sir. Thank you, Puddle of Chud. That's a fantastic name. Huge ass from $4.99 says, why does the SRA have 5.7 ammo on it? They're all poor and can't afford that stuff. Man, I don't know. The SRA Reddit, if it was going to make sense, it wouldn't be the SRA Reddit. So just whatever happens there, just let it go. Just let it go. Thank you, Huge. I appreciate it. Pat became a member for 1 month. Awesome. Says, did you hear of Elon's new political party, the American Party? Yeah, the American Party of H1B1 immigrants from India. Very, very American of you. Yeah. Yeah, very American of you, sir. The person who said, like, I don't give an F about you guys. I want more H1B visas or something. There was something to that effect. Doc for 5 says, off topic, but with all the P320 issues, are there any concerns with carrying a P365? Are there any issues that you've heard of? No, so the P365 still has the crappy like manufacturing processes, and like I've seen a lot of individual parts break, right? But as far as like hurting people or killing people, no, I don't think the P365 has those issues. It has other issues, but not the 320 issues, which is why, surprise, surprise, it has a completely different fire control unit.
With my 365, I have about 300 rounds through it. I haven't noticed anything yet. Granted, very low round count. I did put it in the Flux Raider chassis, so I'm going to be doing some work with that.
Nice.
Super
yeah, I mean,
base.
it has different issues, but not the same issues. And like I've owned 365, 365 XL. I thought they were fine.
Also,
My
ICE is
local
replacing their
range-
320s with 365s, correct?
Yes, they are. ICE is replacing the remaining of the contract money that they have left. They're spending that on 365s instead of 320s. And then when that's up, they're going to get Glock 45s, I want to say.
That actually got updated. So they fought it out internally, and they are no longer getting Glock 45s. They're getting Glock 19s. So they fought that out internally to get the 19 instead of the 45, which I think is... Honestly, I would just go with the 47. If you're going to be dilly-dallying around a full-size pistol, just get the 47. But that's my 2 cents on it.
I mean,
Thank you, Doc, for the 5.
You go for 19 size, it's almost like there's a better option out there. We shan't name it, though, but everyone knows what it is.
To comment on the 365 issues, though, my local rental range, for the first probably 6 months that they had their 365s in, they could not keep them running because they kept breaking firing pins. Eventually, they got that worked out. It was a heat treat issue, but they were snapping firing pins and ejectors. So that was an issue for a little while. But I think they've got a majority of the overall issues with that straightened out. I have seen issues from other things like mem parts and things like that, that it looks like it's just, you know, when you get chrome coating and it starts to flake off. That like delamination. I have seen that on new parts, gun stores pulling them apart and sending in pictures of the internals, and brand new unfired parts have that delamination look to them. So just if you do get one, inspect it, take a good look at it, and put it through its paces. That's all I have to say.
I mean, that's just about the same with every firearm. Todd Dogs for Two says the look on Bondi's face is one of abject fear. Yeah, it's like whatever they saw on that list that doesn't exist, that did not make them happy. But thank you for Todd for the 2. Nick for 5 says Sigger fatigue. Do we have a sounder for that? Do we have we don't have, I don't have the What's Up Siggers from Ben sounder on here. I have it on Discord, but not here. Thank you, Nick, for the 5.
That chirp.
That one?
Never
Sabardic Psycho for 2 says Gaston's Revenge. Yep. Every day gets better and better for Mr. Gaston Glock. Appreciate it, Sabardic. Huge Ass for 199 says the SIG cries out as it hits you. Indeed, it's never a SIG's fault, but it has gone off in 109 different holsters. Not sure if that's related or not. Matthew J for 2 says N. Indeed. Custom Line for 189 says light bearing holster. Clearly it's the user's fault. True. And I just think it's strange that SIG completely declined to even be part of the investigation that one of their newly issued guns went off in somebody's holster. Chuck McGill 6949 says Siggers stay seething, a Glock chuds on top as usual. Or maybe even Ruger Simps in the chat as well. Todd and Dogs for 2 says Bondi, Bongino, and Patel are scared shatless. No William Shatner for them, huh? AF right now.
Yeah, definitely don't look into Patel's girlfriend.
Yeah, she's 20 years younger than him. And she used to work for an intelligence agency in the Middle East. What's odd about that?
And she's now the current CEO of PragerU after Dennis Prager mysteriously fell down a flight of stairs and is completely paralyzed. And yeah,
wait, is that real? I didn't know that. When did that happen?
Yes. Not to completely derail the stream, but I'll send you all that afterwards because it's a rabbit hole.
Interesting. What wacky shenanigans these people get up to. Central Sands Defense for 2 says FUD boomer cops are still defending this gun. There are always going to be defenders out there until SIG says, well, some guns may have actually had an issue. Maybe. But thank you, Central Sands Defense for 2. Todd Dogs for another 2 says Bongino is not a tough guy with the DS up in his face. Yeah, whatever they threatened these people with, it's got to be like, we're gonna, do things to you and your bloodline that will never be, recovered from or something. I don't know what they threaten these people with, but it's got to be something. Thank you, Todd and Dogs, for the 2. Central States Defense again for 2 says half trigger pull is a feature. Get it right. Yes, half the trigger pull, all the boom. Buy one get one half off. Thank you.
Brings all new meaning to the phrase "going off half cocked."
Yeah, it's literally is a thing with SIGs. Huge Ass for 199 says, "Sig, oh no, you're gonna make me ND."
Now come.
How many days has it been since
it's 116? Was it 116 the other day? So what is it now? 118? 118 days since it. Focus Trip's wife for $4.99. You calling me a liar? I ain't calling you a truther. What that was in reference to. Thank you, Focus Trip. Absolute Moonman for 10 says so over for Sigas. Story at 9 after Friends. Yeah. It's been over, but thank you for the 10, Mr. Moonman. Appreciate it, sir. I hope you're having a good time at your government job. Huge Ass for 199 says Sig, made by 3 chitters for scrotum striking. Yeah. Yikes. At
testicular torsion.
It's the sound of that. Every time I hear it, gets me. It just makes me cringe a little bit. Back to the fake Donald Trump. A reminder, real Donald Trump is 6'3". The deep state double is 6 foot. Are we going to have to be comparing photos and do all the red lines and the arrows and the size comparison charts now for Trump and his double?
Yeah, you gotta find Trump holding a cup of coffee so you can,
Yeah.
crop it out and then stack it
Yeah,
up
you
next to him. Yeah.
Size scale
Photoshop
it.
all the copies next to him, and you're like, oh, actually, this one right here.
I'll get the thumbtacks and the twine.
All right.
Full conspiracy
Well, which one we should probably start with this one. So this is the single shooter, I want to say. So down in Texas on the 4th of July, celebrating independence, just randomly, like 3 different groups wanted to do things, or maybe not even so random, but wanted to do do a little terror on the 4th of July at these ICE facilities down there. So taken down, disturbing message, shooter 27 rode on side of car before opening fire on border agent, near airport in ambush. So the man, identified as 27-year-old Ryan Luis Mosqueda, was killed on Monday after shooting at officials with a gun near a Texas airport. And this is his car, which is, I suppose, meant to look like a GTR with the retro spoiler thingy on it with the Cordis die on the side, which is, of course, a reference to Black Ops 2. So
Nice.
real gamers stand up. Now, for reference, oops, shoot, let me pull this up for you. Very funny. Cordis die is the title of this video from 6/20/2025. From when did Black Ops 2 come out? 2009?
2012.
2012? Okay.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it in between Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, or was it after Modern Warfare?
No, it was between like Ghosts and
Which one, Black Ops 1 or
Warfare,
2?
I think.
Modern
Black
Warfare
Ops
3 and Ghosts.
November 13th, 2012 for Black Ops 2.
Okay. Either way, yeah. So just predicting the future once again. Drone warfare, AI going rogue, and of course, Cordis die.
This video is triggered to play upon my assassination. Cordestia, you know.
Back when YouTube had a dislike button. Damn, better days. Yeah, but Cordis Day, it's faux Latin, meaning Judgment Day. So that's what he just... If you see a vehicle just driving down the highway with that badly spray painted on the side, just probably report him.
Know how to proceed. My death will shine light upon ubiquitous darkness.
Yeah, nothing says resistance like a riced out Chevrolet Cobalt coupe. Probably a combi trim.
Yeah,
It should have been an Altima.
I think it's ironic. Hello, by the way. I think it's ironic that Menendez, he actually was able to convince people to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In 2025, like Black Ops 2 it's now a meta storyline. It's real
Well,
life.
no. So, freaking Lance told me the other day, Black Ops 2 is now alternative history. It is a alternative history game. Yeah.
Basically, yes.
Think about that for a minute.
We haven't had the Obama yet. The USS Obama.
That's
Was
true.
that in that game?
The
Yeah.
Obama.
It will be. Don't you worry.
I like
All right,
this
the
version better because instead of getting the USS Obama, we got rid of the Harvey Milk. So
Yeah.
this is a better timeline.
I don't know. This is a more gay timeline. The suspect's vehicle carried more firearms and ammunition, according to police, and was marked with what appeared to be a Latin phrase. Latin writing was also found inside the white Chevy, police said. Mosqueda was shot and killed by agents during the shootout, according to McAllen Police Chief Victoria Rodriguez. A McAllen police officer was injured in the knee, but will recover. Police said 2 officers and 1 Border Patrol employee were injured, according to the FBI. All 3 were taken to the hospital. The shooter, originally from Michigan, press X to doubt, had been reported missing hours earlier from, Weslaco, Texas. The car held more guns and ammunition, according to police, with what officials believe to be writing in Latin inside the vehicle. I like how they always say, like, the motive remains unclear when he was in Texas shooting at Border Patrol agents. I mean, last name Mosqueda. I don't know.
He was pissed off that he wasn't able to redeem an Xbox 360 using Baja Blast and Doritos.
That's good. Yeah, on the side of the white Chevy photographed near the scene, the words "Court has died" were written in black spray paint across the driver's side door. The phrase is not standard or classic Latin phrase, but appears to have originated in the 2012 video game Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and roughly translates to the Day of the Heart. No, it's the Day of Judgment. They didn't even watch the trailer, man. Come on. In the game, it represents a militant anarchist terrorist organization that is the main antagonist of the story. Activision did not immediately respond to a request for comment. What are they supposed to say? Like, we made a game 13 years ago that featured this saying, and some weirdo Mexican dude spray painted it on the side of his Cobalt. Like, okay, who cares?
God is still grooming Zoomers.
I mean, if it's near an airport, why wouldn't he just spray paint "No Rush" into the side of his car? It'd be more fitting.
Yeah. Well, but that's, I guess they identify more with the anarchist ideals of Menendez versus
The
Makarov.
meaningless of a Makarov.
Yeah. I cannot tell you how many rounds were fired from the suspect, but there were many dozens of rounds fired by the suspect towards the building and towards agents in that building, Rodriguez said. We have no reason to believe at this point that there are any more threats in the area. The FBI is now leading the investigation. So the one thing that you can always, or almost always, be confident in is that these people are retarded and incompetent, which what led them to do this in the first place. So out of 30, 40, 50 rounds fired, he has an accuracy rating of approximately 2%.
Where's the gap?
Nice job.
I want to see the cursed build.
Well, I was not able. Bucky, did you see any pictures of the actual?
No, I
setup
just only
going around?
found the post incident after they photographed and tagged everything. Haven't seen the clear.
Yeah,
picture of the rifle.
I saw the one that you posted on there where everything is blurred out. Actually, I might even have that news clip floating around. Let me see if I grab that real fast, because we can take a look at that, because I don't remember if they say in that clip any
I assume it's an
additional
AR-15 of
information.
some sort, but that's speculation.
I think dude got one of the bad endings in the Black Ops 2 campaign, so
Right.
had to take it out on everybody else.
The one where you die mid-level.
I think it's the one where you like kill Menendez, but then things go bad anyway.
Yeah, you did get enough brownie points throughout it or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan.
Hey, Martha, this is still an active investigation led by the FBI after yet another attack on federal agents involved in immigration enforcement. The attacker opened fire early this morning outside a Border Patrol and
Ripperino.
I can show this on YouTube. Plate carrier, it looks like. Maybe some spare mags floating around.
Looks like
Don't see any
AR-15
firearm.
pattern magazines.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would imagine, unless it would be kind of funny on a meta level if it was like an SKS.
That'd be amazing.
On a
Oh my
meta level,
god.
it would be funny.
Tapco stock.
Right.
Yeah, Tapco stock and
Yeah,
build 20 round
dude.
mags.
No, like
Trump
that
shooter number
shitty,
3.
Yeah.
that shitty Mossberg 22 that has like the plastic shell. That make it
Oh
look like
yeah,
an
yeah.
M4.
Oh, okay, so you have like the original Trump shooter who used like a basic generic arrow rifle with an Ames. Then you have the second Trump shooter, and it went so much worse. It's an SKS with a welded on riser scope, right? And then the third one is like a zip gun or something retarded. It just gets worse and worse as it goes along.
JB welded high point.
Yeah.
and ambush. Border Patrol agents and local police returned fire, hitting and killing the shooter, who was armed with an assault rifle.
They were
Dude, I need that clip of Ninja going like, "Hit your shots, kid. Hit your shots."
Back shots.
Yeah, something
Why
like
does
that.
that
But
news reporter sound like he's almost British?
he might actually be British. Terrifying thought. He
How
might
horrifying.
actually be British.
Can't believe I'm receiving news about America by a British dude.
I thought we fought a war, so we didn't have to hear from those.
Yeah.
those people.
True.
Those people.
People.
Question mark. No, but what I was gonna say, what is actually important, guys, okay, if you take anything away from all of this and you like shooting, you like training, the only thing that's actually important is being able to hit the target under stress. So you should probably actually practice rather than just being retarded. You'll be much more effective, right? And this guy shooting like 40, 50 rounds at you, absolutely incompetent. But as soon as you put shots on target and put the person down, problem's over, right? So just be able to do that.
You know what this reminds me of back in 2019 over in Dallas, Brian Isaac Clyde, he had a DPMS Oracle, which is like the lowest end AR-15 you could get at the time, with a TAMU red dot sight and a sling duct taped to the fore end, and he got clapped by a security guard with a 40 or 9mm.
Yep. Yeah, well, it's like some dude has a rifle, goes to a place, doesn't know how to use it, and then just some security guard, random local cop, just puts shots on target. Shots on target are incredibly effective.
Wow, who would have thought?
For many dozens of rounds fired by the suspect towards a building and towards agents in that building.
The Border Patrol facility was left riddled with bullet holes. One McAllen police officer was hit in the knee by either a bullet or shrapnel. Police identified the shooter as Ryan Lewis Mosqueda, 27 years old, with links to Texas and Michigan. The McAllen attack follows two violent incidents at ICE facilities. On July 4th in Alvarado, Texas, a police officer was shot in the neck after several people opened fire on officers outside the Prairieland Detention Center. The officer was treated and released. And there was also another attack on an ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, Friday night, a facility that has been the site of an ongoing protest for several weeks.
We're pulling agents off of.
Yeah, so no additional information on that clip, I don't think. But yeah, just a strange series of events. Or not even really that strange, I guess. But just the fact that these were all happening right at around the same time. Now, the next one, this one is the craziest one to me. Where you have, Bucky did a great video breakdown on all of this, but where you have a coordinated hit with like exfil planned and like a whole plan of attack in order, and just it is like on the surface it is somewhat organized, but the way that it got pulled off was just a little tarded, a little special.
I wonder if they were like using Doll Squad as their basis of doctrine and MO.
It's
field manuals are out there.
I did pull up the stuff that you sent me on Discord if you want me to take a look at that.
Let's do that later once we like go further down the story.
Well, yeah, so I have the generic reporting. So just to kind of cut to the chase, this is the quality of individual we're looking at. This is only 8 out of the 11 because there were other people involved at different places. But I think this gives us a pretty good breakdown of the actual what happened, and then we can go through the article.
10 people are facing charges for their roles in the shooting of an Alvarado police officer at an ICE detention center.
Investigators say it was a coordinated attack that ended when 2 people fired at police and unarmed corrections officers. Fox 4's John Anglin reports.
Though somewhat rare in the early stages of a federal investigation of...
Bro, the phenotypes going on here are fantastic. Now, this is one of those things where it's gay or trans, call it. I think it's mostly gay, 20% trans or something like that. Just the SSRI, you can't see my screen, but the SSRI stare here from Mr. Bauman. Something ain't right.
Bauman, that's an interesting name.
What an interesting name. If she's a chick, I can make her better. I believe you, Moon Man. You can do it.
Of a federal investigation, authorities have shared booking photos of nearly a dozen suspects, images of weapons, tactical gear, and graffiti they say were part of a...
See, that's the thing. They did the same thing. On the side of their Prius, they have Ice Pig, which is like a rare Pokemon or something like that.
Violent planned ambush at the ICE detention facility.
I do like that. Sorry, I got to back up. Resist fascism. Shoot at unarmed people at a detention center for people who are here illegally. Like, I don't get it.
At the ICE detention facility in Alvarado.
Clearly, the allegation is very strong.
I spoke to criminologist Dr. Alex Del Carmen of Tarleton State University for his perspective on the case, which underscores an increase in violence against law enforcement officers in other cities and states, particularly surrounding immigration.
One possibility is that they are related and that this is a national concerted effort, to go after first responders, which could always be. And they have not made that connection yet. The second possibility is that, in fact, this may not be related at all, and that these are simply copycats, that people are getting inspired to do this kind of harm on first responders because they're reading what's happening in other states.
In Alvarado, July 4th, around 10:30 at night, a disturbance outside the Prairieland ICE lockup appeared to lure unarmed correctional officers outside. Investigators say a positioned gunman then began firing. A responding Alvarado police officer was shot in the neck. He is expected to recover.
So we see this tactic as well. This is where these people are like really messed up because they use some sort of distraction on the outside to lure these people out, right? To basically try and trap or ambush them. And fortunately, the retards are barely able to land a single round. And the one person that did end up getting hit is likely to survive, which is incredibly lucky considering he got shot in the neck for coming out to it's like when that guy in Idaho lit a fire to draw out
firefighters.
That's what I was gonna say. It's kind of weird. I don't think they're related, but it's interesting that it's the same tactic.
It's not related in the sense this is like, hey, we're just going to start doing this now. But I think you are going to see more of that, where they lure cops, where they lure ICE agents, where they lure people out where they are easier to engage. And again, fortunately, as of right now, the only thing going for the unsuspecting victims in these cases is that the attackers are mostly incompetent. The Three Stooges hit squad.
According to the criminal charging document, in total, the assailant shot approximately 20 to 30 rounds at the correctional officers. The 10 suspects, the feds say, were dressed in military black, donned body armor. Some were even covered in mud. All face charges including attempted murder.
There's no such thing as military black. Sorry, had to get that out there.
Hey, we got Grok in the chat. I hope you're doing well after you got kicked off Twitter. What worst militia of all time. Worst I don't know what to call this. Like, we joked about like the doll squad and stuff a few weeks ago, people like that. But I mean, these people are they're doing what they say they're going to do. We're going to resist fascism and we're going to fight back against oppression. And to them, that means shooting at unarmed detainee workers in the middle of the night or something like that. I mean, this is what these people will try and do. Psychos exist.
What was the purpose of the mud? What were they trying to accomplish with mud?
Well, so the military black. So they did this at night, and I imagine the mud is probably to help them blend in a little bit more because I mean they're pretty pasty. So
they did blackface.
Right. Well, that's a symbol of their future incarceration. They wanted to try and fit in.
Yeah.
So
I think they'll get plenty of time. Never mind. I'm not gonna make that joke.
Yeah. Gopnik, you were about to say something?
If you take the nothing ever happens guy and you just like switch the Overton window to the left side of that, like this is what you get. Like it's this lineup.
It's just the worst possible thing happening at all times.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just curious, how does this group of 11 individuals figure out, like, this is what we're going to do? Like, trying to convince your buddies to go to the range on the weekend is hard enough, right? To get like a few buddies together, but to conspire to all go to jail forever. Like, because what did they think was going to happen? Are they that deluded or insane to think that they could get away?
I'm not putting money against it.
They probably
Yeah, I was
weren't
gonna say
aimed
they
at
might have
VR chat.
thought that it would work, whatever their plan was.
Yeah, they probably
So-
thought that this was going to start some kind of movement, and then no one would really care to find them.
It's harder to get your buddies to go together to get together. I'm having a stroke. Holy shit! hard to get your buddies together to go to the range on the weekend because everybody's usually working throughout the week and they want to rest on the weekend. None of these people have jobs, so it's all right for them to get together and actually do something for once.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's like getting a gang together to commit like organized crime versus like just straight up planning a murder. Like that's what this is, right? They wanted to go and kill ICE agents.
I was amazed they're able to do it underground without me reporting on them or them just posting their own gang on Instagram or something.
Right, doing it first. But I mean, as we'll get into, they were incredibly incompetent, like the entire way through. But just the fact that they were able to get 11 tards together to try and pull something off like that, that's the scary thing. You just get a mob of retards shooting at you. Yeah.
Of an officer. There is also one charged co-conspirator. The arrest records reveal the individuals were from Fort Worth, Dallas, Kennedale, Waxahachie, and College Station.
They're all over the state. These are not people that were neighbors and decided to get together and cause harm. These were individuals that are basically across the state of Texas that have come together in some sort of an organized way.
Dr. Del Carmen, while insisting many things are clear surrounding the attack, believes an unanswered question is also crucial.
It would be interesting to know if there's a connection between the suspects and any of the inmates that are being held in that facility, as to whether or not they're trying to maybe plan somebody's quote-unquote rescue or escape from the facility, or if they were simply doing it as an easy target, a target that they knew how to get to.
Deanna.
Dude, imagine that. Okay, you're in some detainee facility somewhere, and it's like, all right, guys, your rescue crew is coming. and it's these guys. You're like, nah, just let me. I'm just going to stay here. Don't even send it. I'm good. Thank you, though. Bucky, did we ever find out where the group originated from? Like, were they on some board? How did they meet? What communications were they using?
I don't know. They seem to use like their own like text messages, possibly through Signal, and they did know to have been using iPhones.
Yeah, because they also, we'll get into it, but they were using Faraday bags, and there were certain elements that were like not tarded, but then the actual execution of everything was incredibly tarded.
Yeah, there was a clear ringleader, and everything is clearly Antifa related.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, how does one get in touch with like-minded individuals?
Yeah, because I wasn't too sure, because I haven't seen anything on Blue Sky. I haven't seen anything on Instagram.
Damn, that's
these
good.
Particular individuals in the first place of what I know is what they're known as, or their handles.
Yeah, I mean, I hope more stuff on that comes out, because that's what I'm interested in. Because if there's 11 of them, there's got to be more hiding in some of these groups out there.
They just released a news report of one who was recently apprehended just after the reports, a 25-year-old Marine Corps veteran.
Wait, 25 years in the Marine Corps, or 25-year-old?
No, like a 25-year-old, 25 years of age.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Was in the Marine Corps at one point in their lives.
Yeah, Focus Trip's wife, 199, says the Suicidal Squad. Yeah, that is accurate. Huge Ass says ICE ambushing sponsored by BetterHelp. Real, yeah. There's some homebrew therapeutics going on in that group for sure, guaranteed.
I was
by Indian estrogen concentrate.
Yeah. So 11 people have been arrested in what it calls planned ambush on an ICE facility in Alvarado on July 4th. Let me see. Organized attack, quote unquote, their words, not mine. What we know so far, around 10:30 on July 4th at the Prairieland ICE Detention Center in Alvarado, 25 miles south of Fort Worth. Law enforcement officials say 10 to 12 people in black military style clothing began shooting fireworks at the facility. One or two others broke off from the group and began to damage vehicles and spray graffiti. Officials say the graffiti said things like ice pig, traitor, and profanity. Officials believe the activity was meant to draw ICE detention officers out of the buildings. Two unarmed officers made their way outside to talk to the vandals. A single officer from the Alvarado Police Department was also called to investigate the suspicious activity at the detention center. When the officer was responded, he was shot in the neck by a person from the woods. So at some point, you break up the team. One goes to vandal cars and spray paints while the other guys are launching fireworks. And then once the police start to respond, you open fire. Very cool.
Wild.
Officials say another person across the street then shot 20 to 30 rounds at the unarmed ICE detention officers. So yeah, they tried to get all of them. And get this. So as we'll move into, a jammed AR-style rifle was found at the scene. The alleged attackers fled from the scene. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office stopped a vehicle with a single driver inside. 2 guns were found in the car, as well as a Kevlar vest. Sheriff's deputies stopped another 7 individuals in another area. Some were wearing body armor, some were covered in mud, and some were armed, according to officials. According to court documents, the driver told the sheriff's deputy that he met some people online and took them from Dallas to the detention center to make some noise. These people, I mean, like, there's not a shadow of a doubt that these people get convicted when, as soon as they get picked up, they're just telling the deputies, oh yeah, we're just out here to make some noise after shooting at people. So congratulations. That's 3 counts of attempted murder right there, not to mention whatever other sort of charges get thrown your way. Fantastic. So, and they were like, they almost had uniforms, right? 12 sets of body armor, flyers, spray paint, and flags saying resist fascism, murder unarmed civilians, were eventually found. Other searches found masks, goggles, gloves, weapons, fireworks, and more. 10 people are arrested. I think now it's 11, right? 11 is the total number of people arrested so far?
11 people in the court. No, 10 people in the court document, 1 person separate charges, and another individual of interest.
Okay.
So I think 13 total.
Yeah, if convicted, when convicted, they're going to face 10 years in prison per attempted murder charge. Fantastic. Great going.
Minimum.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to
Good
mention
for them.
whatever other charges they get thrown, whether it's a terrorism charge because that's what they were doing, whether it's destruction of, whatever else that they can throw at them, they might as well do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know if there is a more updated one. That one, 10 charged. Yeah, I mean, I could just put that up on screen to haunt your nightmares. Oh, here we go. So I was able to find this. So this was allegedly some of the stuff that got found. So we actually have slightly more competent setups, and I do mean slightly. So if I blow this up a little bit.
It's a lot of
I
mags.
see those Amazon airsoft or LARP vests.
Yeah, it is a lot of mags and a lot of ammo. A lot of small handguns, and I'm not sure what the bottom one is. If that's like a 1911 or something strange.
That looks like either a Taurus or a Beretta 92.
Yeah, a couple of magazines. We have LPVOs. We have bipods on a
So
rifle.
did they bring a bunch of mags and just loose ammo? Were they gonna like load a bunch of mags while they were there?
It's in Tarkov. They top load it.
It was semi organized, not fully organized.
Well, it could have been the law enforcement officers removed all the ammo from all the mags and put it in those bags. Because you can't see if any of them are loaded, so they might have just taken it all out to demonstrate that they were loaded mags.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see here. So, which one would you like to get into first, Bucky?
Let's go. I'd say looking directly at the court document might be the best thing to do. Let me go and post a link of it. To pull up a PDF and a chronological order of what happened.
Okay. Well, while you're pulling that up, let me get through some of these.
And
Ivana, Gobble Your Naba for 5 says, "Hey guys, I'm going undercover in H1B to see if I can get that bag. I got my brown paint and my fake name ready. I knows Papa Swampa. Whoopa Swampa. I know it's Papa Swampa. Very nice. Appreciate it, Ivana Gobble. You're not buff. Absolute Moonman for 5 says, I so very badly need someone to explain to me why all these departments who definitely had a double stack 9mm already needed this new plastic shit box. In reference to switching over to the P320, I'm actually not sure why they did switch from M&Ps or Glocks to 320s in the first place, other than they were probably very cheap and the department... Yeah. Well, but they already had guns. But what I imagine there's got to be something to the idea that they have a budget to spend, so they must spend it. And they're like, well, if we spend it here, at least we can get a lot for our money or something like that. Because, whether it's they have to upgrade every 5 years or so, and P320s just happen to be the cheapest option on the market. It's a possibility.
Oh, it's all just one big coincidence.
It's just a coincidence, you say. Central Sands Defense for 5 says, I have friends who use the Rapid Force. Those things are stout, well-made holsters. The key excuse is complete bullshit. I agree. And I think people called Sig out on that basically immediately. They're like, is it like technically possible? Sure. Is it realistic? No.
No.
And if you can explain one incidence with a key or something like that, okay, that's fine. But what about cases 1 through 47, right? Or whatever it happens to be. Huge Ass for 499 says, if you don't have your arms crisscrossed applesauce while on TRT, I don't want to hear it. GBRS. Yeah, well, maybe you should hear from your son and, pay your child support. Maybe that would be better. Thank you, Huge Ass, for the $4.99. Dr. Fuzzy One for $1.99 says, who up negligently discharging right now? Yeah, I feel like a lot of the chatters are negligently discharging. Sig catches lawsuits. Some of you catch baby mamas. Thank you, Dr. Fuzzy. Noob Actual for $4.99 says, need to have a stream on the FUD to schizo pipeline. I have firsthand experience. Ooh, that's interesting. You should send me that story. I'm sure it would be very fun. The FUD to schizo pipeline. I mean, are we talking about like boomer conspiracy theories? Because that's the whole thing in and of itself. It's a special breed. 28 Printer for $4.99 says, so how are we feeling about our elected officials and possibly our president being pedos? And love the stream. We'll finish in the AM. Listen, okay, it's a big club. And you're not in it. They may not like each other, but they certainly hate you. That's my thoughts on it.
I honestly don't know what he's talking about.
Well, he's talking about that list that definitely doesn't exist.
Wait, there's no list.
That's right.
No
That's what I'm saying.
book.
But people reference the list that doesn't exist.
There's no black book, and you need to stop talking about it.
Nothing ever happens.
Absolute Moonman for 5 says, reminder, the best Call of Duty is 2 and 4. These Zoomers simply don't know how bad they have it. Dude, I remember playing Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3, the World War II games, on the original Xbox. Those were like my first real shooter experience growing up, because I think they came out in 2001, 2, something like that, when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And so I played the series from day one, right? So I remember when Modern Warfare 1 came out and I wasn't allowed to play it because for some reason, like my parents thought World War II was like, oh, that's fine. But like killing people in like the modern era seemed like wrong or something. So I couldn't play that till I was a little bit older. So yeah, I played World War II games a lot growing up. Thank you, Absolute Moonman for 5. Just Some Space Cowboy for 2 says another reason to add a 37/40 millimeter to your EDC. It's like, no, like literally whatever you have, as long as you can put hits on target, you're doing better than 99% of other people out there. So just be relatively competent, and that's going to carry you through just about any situation. Charles Chuck for 2 says, Raul fucking Menendez. Dude, that's Black Ops 2 is an interesting little time capsule of a game.
It really is.
It's like normal Call of Duty gameplay mixed with just schizo futuristic predictions that half of which came true. Like
I firmly believe it was the only good, somewhat futuristic Call of Duty, and it was the first one. And then ever since then, it just went downhill.
Well, so I played Ghosts. I thought that was mediocre. I played Advanced Warfare a little bit. I thought that was mediocre. What
I
are the
played
other
the
ones?
original Black Ops and I liked it. And that was
Yeah,
it.
Black Ops 1 is good. Black Ops 3 and 4, I don't think I really touched at all.
Yeah, I
2 was
So-
okay, but I didn't care for it. 1 was very well done.
Yeah.
MW2 is still the best.
Dude, I love Modern Warfare 2. Absolute Moonman for 5 says, remember when the glowy Minecrafters were competent enough to get on the scoreboard? Pepperidge Feds remembers. Glowy Minecrafters. I don't even know.
I
That
don't
went
know
over
that
my
one,
head.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't glowy
Remember going too hard.
Minecrafters.
This is
Yeah,
a very
Bucky.
specific reference, and we are not understanding it.
No one you know of for 2 says, evening peeps and Mr. Richard. Well, hope you're having a good night. And no one you know of. Absolute Moonman for 5 says, the guy with the homemade scattergat in Japan actually succeeded. A retired politician, LMAO. So clearly the meta is the cheapest, most jank weapon. Well, I mean, getting a firearm in Japan is a little more difficult. But there's something to say about, listen, Japan has a fantastic history of successfully assassinating politicians. So they're very good at it. When they set out to do something, they end up doing it.
They also have a pretty good history of catching nuclear warheads.
2 for 2, baby.
2 for 2.
Nuclear-related incidents in general.
Yeah.
Land of the rising sun.
true.
The reactor.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Charles Chuck for 2 says spawn die, Jeff. Yeah, that is modern Call of Duty gameplay in a nutshell. Huge ass for 199 says MX does a pew pew. Clearly, he's from Michigan. Yeah, that's like when they say French native groomed a 13-year-old girl. It's like Frenchman. You look at the name and you're like, sure. Focus Trip's wife for 499 says, quick question. Do you guys know if Pizza Hut delivers to basements? And if not, how much money would it take to convince them? They don't. I know you've tried before. They keep saying, hey, I have an extra large pepperoni with anger management issues, and I keep taking the phone and being like, no, we're not doing pepperoni again. I already have the anger management issues. So can we get another topping? But thank you.
When she starts ordering a yes, no pizza.
Yeah. Yes, no. Yes, he's armed. Multiple children in the house. Yeah. Pepperoni, anger management, all sorts of fun things. Strange toppings that they have on pizzas these days. Huge ass for 189 says the last thing an SKS sees before being bubbled. Real. Sorry, Huge ass. Thank you for that. Chuck McGill for 199 says this mugshot looks like a poly relationship lineup.
Bruh.
Yeah, every quote unquote like poly relationship throuple thingamajig that you see, one of these people is in it. But usually, actually, I do want to say that these people's BMI is actually lower than what you would find in a poly relationship. So there needs to be one like 600-pound person in this for it to be completely lore accurate. But thank you, Chuck McGill. Huge ass for 199 says ban assault mud. Yeah, tactical blackface no longer allowed. We've banned it. Joe Daddy Gaming for 499 says, what if that recently captured CIA quote unquote operator was Eluse was on the way to meet up with that crew? Yeah, dude, that would actually complete the group. You have retarded CIA guy trapped in Mexico trying to get across the border to give these guys arms. That might actually check out.
In that case, it just turned out to be the Splinter Glow So Bright militia.
Right. Coppertone 32 says they were all probably known to Ellie as well. That's interesting because these guys were from all over the place. So there's like some coordination to it. There's some planning, but then also just completely inept, and none of them managed to get away or to do what they set out to do.
It used to be fun to meme about say the line. They were on our radar. Well, later on, you realize that being on the radar isn't important when everyone is on their radar.
Yeah, it's like I am known to the FBI. It's like, well, he was known to the FBI. Just some space cowboy for 5 says Bucky needs to find the secret Trantifa DT Discord server. Yeah, Bucky's working on it. I'm sure that is speaking of horrors beyond comprehension. Subarctic Psycho member for 3 months says glacial swine. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but thank you for that, sir. Absolute Moonman for 2 says I can fix Blondie. Make her feral. I don't think you need to make her feral. Her ? Feral.
That one is missing from this lineup.
That
I'd have to go. That is a man. That's a man. Let me see if I can find the
swine was in reference to the ice pigs.
Yeah, you want to. Moonman would want to tangle with Savannah.
I think that is a man.
It is a man. Absolute Moonman from 5 says safety orange grip. OSHA is here. Just need an OSHA rated can. Yeah. I don't think OSHA gives out ratings for suppressors. I think that's fake news. Yeah, Art Vandalay says Stargate SG-1 clone correct LBE. True, dude. All the 80s and 90s shows, and even early 2000 shows, they all had the same cringe tactical vest. You know, it's basically like a black fishing vest with a bunch of pockets on it. They all use the exact same thing. Thank you, Art Vandalay. Todd Dogs for 2 says, me and Moonman fixing Blondie while high-fiving for the win. You two have fun with that. You two do your thing.
Moonman, can't you see? That's a man that needs TRT.
Just some Space Cowboy for 2 says 37 out of 40 is for vehicle hazards like Nissan Altimas. Yeah. Ivana Gobble Your Knobot for 5 says, hey, tell Trench that Magnus said the check cleared and he can come in Friday and we can get that thing snipped off for him. I will let Trench know that Mr. Hirschfield has an opening for him so that he can make your opening open or something like that. Thank you, Ivana Gobble Your Knob Focus Trip's wife 49 says Focus Trips looks like someone who would put his wife in the basement. Got a fact check that, and maybe she's hungry, so you should bring a pizza. I fed you yesterday. So, you know, women these days, you give them a house, you give them clothing and shelter, and they never stops. Never stops. Ungrateful, I tell you.
Women.
All right, Bucky, what are we looking at first here?
So let's look at the Twitter page over in the private chat. Not that one, the other one. The one by Antifa Watch 2.
Let me grab it. I got it.
And it should give the name of the name and pictures of our cast. So
all right.
Man, this is very annoying how they formatted it, but left to right are the full names of these individuals right over here.
We have Elizabeth, Marcella, Ines, and Savannah. Yep, that checks out. And Seth. All right. Then we have Bradford, Megan, Cameron, aka
Megan
Autumn.
Morris.
Yeah. Joy, Zachary, and Nathan. So it just gets worse. The more characters they add to it, the worse it gets.
All right, then let's look at the court listener PDF for our chronological breakdown of the story.
I thought those were all PDFs.
They look like all the people that I've ever worked with when I was doing working at a pizza place.
Mm-hmm.
Like the classic pizza employees.
Yeah, so there'd be the over there. Then open that PDF, and it should. So, the United States of America versus the defendants. Those people.
Yeah, Cameron, Savannah, Nathan, Zachary, Joy, Bradford, Marcella, Seth, Elizabeth, and Ines. So Elizabeth and Ines are brother sisters.
Yes, they're all collectively. Count 1: attempted murder of a federal officer.
No, sorry.
2.
Which ones are the brothers? Is it these two on the bottom?
It would be it'd be a top left and center left. So scroll up. It would be top left.
Okay. Left. It's the only two non-white presenting people. That's funny. All right, so yeah, count number 1, attempted murder. Count number 2, attempted murder. Count number 3, attempted murder. Congratulations. Count number 4, discharging a firearm during, in relation to, and furtherance of a crime of violence. Count number 5, the same. Count number 6, the same. So let's see. I wonder, what's this say? Does it say the maximum sentence here? It doesn't. Okay. I wanted to say what it was. We could add them all up. But
to life.
It's life. It's life, guys. It's 30 plus years. It's gonna be have a good time.
So
30 years.
FBI agent's background. Scroll down.
30 years seems optimistic for them. Like, life expectancy wise.
And as far as I'm aware, I'm not a Texan myself, but all these are suburbs or towns in the vicinity of Dallas or Fort Worth.
You're same within hours of each other, but it's not neighbors, but close to each other.
Right.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah. So chronological order of what happened. So so starting at 10:40 in the evening, July 4th. They start launching fireworks towards the detention facility, and then one of them breaks off and starts spray painting cars and structures.
So yeah, and then just before 11 p.m., the correctional officers called 911. Around 10:58, so just a couple minutes later, 2 unarmed correctional officers performing their official duties for the DHS. They came out to check what was going on, essentially. Attempted to talk to the vandals. The correctional officers then exited the fence line into the parking lot and approached the vandals. I don't know if I would do that unarmed. Meanwhile, a person wearing a green mask can be seen standing outside the woods just north of the intersection and appeared to be signaling to the vandals with a flashlight. So these guys, the 2 separated groups, are communicating with each other. And then around that exact same time, so 10:59, a AVPD or an APD officer arrives. And I believe once he gets out, an assailant starts shooting at him, and the officer does get hit in the neck. So almost immediately, these 3 things happen within 3 minutes of each other.
Yeah, so
they call the police officers, go out there, and then as soon as he shows up, steps out, gets shot at.
Yeah, so the guy with the green mask who was signaling to the vandalism team with a flashlight then starts shooting at the police, the officer that rolls up on scene.
Yeah.
He gets shot in the neck, and then at least 2 of them fired 20-30 rounds at them, at the group of officers outside. And
yeah, so it shows the assailant in the green mask standing near the woods, then opened fire at the unarmed DHS correctional officers. So they were shooting at everybody, which is why they all get an attempted murder charge. Congratulations.
I mean, make fun about how incompetent it was, because it was, but this is, not to play it up, but this is like a diversionary, like, squad ambush that they set up.
No, there are elements in here that are very scary, right? There's
Yeah.
teamwork, there's coercion, there's planning, there's intro and exits planned, all that sort of stuff. But it's just the execution is so poor, right?
Thankfully, very poor. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like they were able to get there and do the thing that they wanted to, or like set up the scenario, I guess, like draw officers out of the building, get police to show up. But then when it came to actually, I guess their plan was to just murder them all, whoever came out.
And if you look at the satellite imagery of the detention center, approximately about 120, 150 yards or so, there's a small strip of trees that makes up a wood line. That beyond that would be a farmer's field.
Yeah.
Or a field of some sort.
Well,
so that's like Butler, Pennsylvania, like shooter's territory right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they did not make it far away at all.
Yeah, if you see that black vertical line to the left of the white detention center area, that would be where they're shooting from. No, further up, further up. Yeah. No, left.
Sorry,
Like there,
Why do I not see it?
it
Am I
shows up
retarded?
poorly in the photograph, but there's a black circle and a arrow that says
this?
approximate location of subjects who fired at APD officer.
Yeah, no, that's what I was looking at. Sorry,
Yeah,
you guys.
okay.
My mouse might be in the wrong spot, but I know what you guys are talking about. Yeah, so approximate location of
okay.
subjects fired at APD officers. So yeah, they were standing here, and then the parking lot where the vandalism occurred. So I believe the DHS officers were also in the parking lot when they were getting shot at. So the only like silver lining there is they could probably get to cover really quick, or at least concealment really quick, because they shot like 20 or 30 rounds at them. And then, so the police officer, does it say where the police officer stopped his car? Because did he stop in the parking lot?
Wait, like intercepted the minivan? Like we see
No. The police officer who showed up to investigate the vandalism and then got
I assume
shot.
I assume the parking lot
Okay.
of the over there
Mm-hmm.
where the vandalism happened, but I can't
So-
say for definite.
Right, and I think we're about to get into this, but so essentially the guys shooting from over here, they run down this way to, and I think they're trying to link up with the vehicle guys as well, right? Because they're all trying to get out there together.
Right. So about 7, 8 of them broke contact, went westward to that area. But let's look down. So
the police
line
later
21.
found the police later found a Franklin Armory AR-15 style rifle west of the shooting on Tanglewood Drive. The rifle had a bullet jammed in the chamber, thereby causing it to malfunction. So, yeah, once again, quality firearms training and ammo very hard to find in these SRA antitypes.
Well,
Franklin
not all
Armory, they
models.
make the binary triggers, right?
They're famous for their binary triggers, but they also do make firearms of medium
With ordinary
quality. They
triggers.
also, they do a lot of California compliant stuff, so they're big in California.
Okay, gotcha.
So a second AR-15 style rifle was found in the woods across from the Prairieland Detention Center in the vicinity of spent 5.56 casings, along with 2 body armor plate carriers with loaded AR-15 magazines. A pistol magazine was also recovered nearby. So this is the part that I don't get. So one rifle went down, so they just left it. Why would you leave that much evidence behind? That will surely implicate you. Again, they're kind of tarded. And then they also left plate carriers behind and just random magazines, pistol mags, and a second rifle. Like, was that the plan to ditch all of their equipment at the scene? Like, had it been sanitized? Did they take off all the serial numbers? And was it the plan to ditch all of this stuff and make sure that they didn't leave fingerprints anywhere?
Well,
or was it just panic? Or was it just well, I was gonna say, was it just panic in the dark? Like, I dropped a rifle, I'm not going back for it. You know, I gotta run, so I gotta take off my heavy plates and throw them on the ground.
It stopped. It stopped work. Oh, it ran out of ammunition. It stopped working. It must be broken now.
I think it's
well, because
these
these guys didn't have night vision, and I imagine they were trying to not use any lights, right? Because that would obviously give away their position. So I imagine these just bumbling fools stumbling around in the dark. Like, is my gun's not firing? I'm still pulling the trigger. What's happening? No idea. Ditch the rifle. Get out of here.
I imagine they had to run more than maybe 20 feet and went, oh shit, this is heavy. It just dropped it.
Yeah, that's the thing. They had a plan to get in. They had a plan to get out. They had a plan of action, and up to that point, like, they were doing okay, I guess. But it's the execution's just so poor, like comically bad. Fortunately, comically bad. All right. So shortly thereafter, a Johnson County Sheriff's Office detective who was en route to Prairieland Detention Center was radioed and told that a red maroon Hyundai was observed fleeing the scene and that it was headed in the detective's direction. So this is like almost providential that somebody else just happened to be in the area with the van heading directly towards them. The JCSO detective made a traffic stop on a 2007 red and maroon Hyundai van less than a mile away, as shown in Figure 1. I mean, pretty pathetic how far they made it, honestly, because here's the parking lot. They drove down one road, got on this little highway, and then got apprehended basically immediately. Like, it could not have gone any worse for them. During the traffic stop, JCSO officers observed a black pistol in plain view in the van and asked the sole occupant, identified as Morris, if there were any other firearms in the van. Morris told the JCSO officers that there was another firearm in the back seat. At that time, officers observed an AR-15 style rifle in the backseat of the van. Morris was removed from the van and detained. They also saw 2 Kevlar ballistic-style vests, one of which was in the back seat and the other was in the back of the van. There was also a ballistic helmet in the van. Morris had a loaded magazine in his pocket that matched the pistol, and a handheld radio in his possession. Another AR-15-style rifle was found in the back of Morris's van. Morris admitted that he had been at... Why would you do this? Admitted that he had been at the Prairieland Detention Center and claimed that he met some people online and transported some of them down from Dallas to the Prairieland Detention Center to make some noise. Morris claimed ownership of all the firearms in the vehicle, and the JCSO officers took Morris into custody. What an absolute tard. You get asked by your autistic Antifa buddies to do a hit, and you're transporting all these firearms and presumably these people as well. You take off after it happens and then immediately admit to all of your crimes. Like, something seems almost too incompetent about that.
Instant
Almost
fold.
Yeah, no pressure whatsoever. At approximately 11:10, so this is only 10 minutes after the shooting occurred, JCSO deputies responding to the Prairieland Detention Center made contact with 7 additional subjects on foot at the intersection of Tanglewood Drive and Burnett Boulevard, approximately 300 yards west of where the assailants shot the APD officer. The subjects were identified as Elizabeth Soto, Ein Soto, Bauman, Rhoda, Sykes, Gibson, and Batten. They were dressed in black, military-style clothing. Some had body armor and were covered in mud, and some were armed, and some had radios. So they got picked up. These guys right here. So in the field. So I guess they booked it from where they were shooting down to here. So they made it, about 300 yards away is what they claim. and so I guess is the theory that they were waiting for the van to come pick them up. And so they were just sitting around waiting?
Yeah, I believe so, because they were in a state of idleness. Some of them had no weapons. Presumably some of them ditched in the tree line. Others just all of them just standing around, some of them armed, some of them in a empty state. It was just a weird gaggle of people dressed in the same stuff.
Well, what you do is you ditch or you stage the vehicles like a half mile away or a mile away, somewhere inconspicuous and out of the way, and then you just on foot run to the vehicles and then leave. Not wait for pickup from somebody else. The vehicle should already be staged and ready to go. Like,
that's like a car call where the SUV is already gone and you can't get exfilled.
Right. They're just waiting for the wipe. Morris admitted that he had been at the Prairieland. Oh, wait, no, we already read that one. Sorry. Additional firearms containing ammunition and a total of 12 sets of body armor. Like, they all had body armor. Most of them had weapons or something. Were they just expecting to get into a firefight? Like, were they all expecting to die? Like, because they're all body armor, ballistic helmets.
And it seems like as soon as the plan went square-shaped, or as soon as they made contact with one officer and they decided to book it in the exfil site, then they stopped fighting.
Well, they left, right? Because the officer got shot in the neck. It doesn't say that officer shot back at all. So I don't know if they had any resistance. So they might have just shot for a couple minutes and then oh, nobody's shooting back. What do we do now? And everybody's like, well, I guess we just leave. I guess we should go, right?
Mission accomplished.
I'm really wondering if they've been groomed into such a main character complex to where they think they're not going to get hurt.
But that's the thing. They were wearing body armor, right? 12 sets of body armor, ballistic helmets. They were prepared for a firefight or planning on a firefight. And instead they got one police officer showing up.
I mean, there's nothing in the report that indicates that there were plates found inside the vest. So,
I think there is this happens with real actual dudes with military training where they assume that their plan, until they've met real resistance or they're unfortunately their buddy gets shot, they do. They like believe because they've never experienced that before. They're just like, yeah, we're just gonna stomp it and everything's gonna be fine. So, yeah, it could have just been like, yeah, it'll just nothing could go wrong. You know, we will have the element of surprise and they won't know it hit them. So it could be that as well. And then once plans, the second something doesn't go exactly how they thought it would, they're just like, yeah, what do we do now? You know. I doubt they had contingencies for anything, you know.
Well, some of them had radios though, so you would have. I mean, if they're not retarded, they had to have had communication with the other drivers, right? Because whether they had dedicated getaway drivers, they were just waiting for the van. I'm surprised they didn't just scatter to the four winds. You know, it's like you two go that way, you go that way, and we're just gonna get out of it. But no, they were all just
like, you ever play GTA 5? Like, you're supposed to like leave after the mission.
Yeah, but just the fact that they're standing like 300 yards away inside of the facility in the middle of a field 10 minutes later, right? They should have been a mile away at that point. Like, it should have been like a real manhunt. But instead,
are they able to
waiting in
like
a field.
physically move a mile?
I mean, listen, the BMI, at least from the photos, doesn't look horrifying. You know, it's not like some of the other ones where they're 300, 400 pounds. The BMI wasn't sky high.
It's the skinny unfit though, because I mean, I'm telling you, some people cannot run even though they're skinny or don't have any upper body strength or any endurance to do anything.
So Bowman was wet, covered with burrs, indicating that he had been crawling around in the woods. He also had a backpack that contained a can of spray paint and flyers, including the following: just always carry around as much incriminating evidence with you as possible. I think that's a great idea. Police also found in the area where Bowman was arrested an iPhone and an identification card belonging to Bowman. Gibson had 2 cell phones in his backpack inside of a Faraday bag. Based on my training and experience, I know that Faraday bags... Sorry, what?
I just said 2 phones. Just being stupid.
Yeah, like a T-Rex arm employee or something. That Faraday bags are used to block certain electromagnetic signals. Yeah, it can reduce their ability to be tracked. But again, your ability to be tracked doesn't matter when you're standing 300 yards away from the scene of the crime, just out in a field somewhere. Sykes had a handgun in his waistband, as well as an AR-15 style upper and lower receiver broken down in a backpack he was wearing. So, I mean, we're up to like 10 firearms at this point. Police later determined that the AR-15 style rifle was purchased approximately 10 days prior by an individual from a pawn shop in Grand Prairie, Texas, in Tarrant County. Sykes admitted that the guns were his, but claimed that they were for his own protection and never intended to use them. So no training or planning or anything. It's like, well, just buy an AR-15 and then you're good to go. I guess because literally bought it right before this, I imagine, for this event, which means that they were planning it at least for a couple weeks, and this is the best that they could come up with. Yvetz was the registered owner of a red 2016 Mazda CX-5 that was observed parked at the Prairieland Detention Center during and after the encounter. On July 5th, 2025, at approximately 2 a.m., law enforcement encountered Yvetz dressed in black military-style clothing walking along Highway 67 near Venus, Texas. So at least one person had the idea that I'm just going to keep walking. Don't know where I'm going to go, but I'm just going to keep walking, because they didn't find her till 4 hours later. So early morning, July 5th, which is kind of amazing that in 4 hours she managed to walk 3 miles.
Bruh.
And again, if this is real, she parked her car at the detention center.
What?
Like, at the detention center. Well, that's what I said. They parked at the detention center. And then I can't go back to my car. There's cops there. It's like, yeah because
your car.
Infinite wisdom.
Not a stolen car. That's literally your car.
Yeah. CX-5 bros are not beating the allegations. It is so true. Oh my gosh. After confirming his identity and connection to the Mazda left on the scene, Yvetz was arrested by the Venus Police Department during a search incident to arrest. VPD officers found a black balaclava mask and a pair of tactical-style gloves and a pair of safety goggles. An officer asked Yvetz where he was coming from, and he said, "I don't know," or words to that effect. So, hey, at least one person knows to shut up. Don't say anything. On or about July 5th, 2025, pursuant to a valid search warrant, law enforcement searched this address, Morris's residence. Police recovered approximately 9 additional firearms, 3 body armor vests, cans of spray paint, and fireworks. In addition, historical cell phone location data indicates that Morris's house was a staging location before the assailants went to the Prairieland Detention Center. Always keep in mind that if you drive to a place with your cell phone in your car, the feds can track you. So if you're meeting up with your buddies and you make a repeated habit of the 10 of you, 11 of you doing it all together at the same time, the feds absolutely know that. At the residence was Arnold, whom a confidant confirmed was at the Prairieland Detention Center during the assault. So Arnold got away. Arnold was one of the 2 people that managed to actually get out of there. So did he just take a car and run? Did he just call an Uber? like how did this guy get out? That's what I want to know.
It's such a large group. It doesn't surprise me 1 or 2 people, despite them being like blatant, retards. Somehow 1 or 2 dudes got away.
They have people waiting in a field for a van that gets arrested immediately.
Yep.
1 person leaves his car at the parking lot. 1 person gets away. 1 person makes it 3 miles on foot. It's like, what was they had the bones of an exit plan, but just it was so poorly executed that they weren't able to follow through on it. On July 6, 2025, 10:55 a.m., Rauda placed a phone call to Daniel Rolando Sanchez, who is charged in a separate complaint. Rauda told Sanchez that her car, which was registered to her home in Fort Worth, was parked on the same block as Morris's resident in Dallas, and stated that a phone was located in the back. Rauda told Sanchez to tow the vehicle and go to her house, stating, whenever you need to move, whatever you need to move at the house. Rauda expressed concern about the possibility of police executing a search warrant at her house. Sanchez told Rauda that he had already gone to Rauda's house and said that they were good. I understand this to mean that Sanchez believed that Rauda's house had not yet been searched by police based on the context of the conversation and the other informant. I believe that Rauda and Sanchez were talking about Rauda's home in Fort Worth. So place a phone call. Yeah. So again, keep in mind that they can absolutely just grab your phone records as well. Like if you're talking on a cell phone, if you're moving with a cell phone, they know what you're saying. They know where you're saying it and probably who you're saying it to. On July 7th, 10:49 a.m., FBI surveillance team went to a residence in Garland, Texas, which they believed was a residential address for Sanchez. FBI observed a vehicle registered to Sanchez at the residence and saw him carrying multiple packages from his residence to his truck. FBI followed him to an apartment in Denton, Texas, and saw him take a box from his truck to the apartment. The FBI executed a search warrant on the Denton apartment and found the box carried by Sanchez, which contained anti-government propaganda, including the following. So then they find... they find the exact same things that were in the backpack and linking them all together. Conclusion. Based upon the foregoing facts, I submit there is a probable cause to believe that Cameron, Savannah, Nathan, Zachary, Joy, Bradford, Marcella, Seth, Elizabeth, and Ines violated attempted murder, blah, 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 and the other crimes. Yeah. And who knows what other charges will eventually be brought against them as well.
So I posted in the private chat a Fox 4 link to a recently developed surveillance of this Marine veteran.
Yeah, I have that. Actually, somebody sent that to me right before we went live, so I actually already had that link. Where did I put it? There it is. Yeah. So this was posted like 10 minutes before we went live. Alvarado ICE facility attack. Military veteran wanted for allegedly shooting 2 rifles. The brief authorities seeking an additional suspect, Benjamin Hanel's song on connection with an ambush at the ICE detention facility in Alvarado, Texas on July 4th. Song is a 32-year-old Dallas resident and former U.S. Marine Corps reservist, is accused of firing 2 AR-15 style rifles at 3 officers. The FBI is offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to Song's arrest. $25,000, cash prize. All right, so this is This is one that got away. Is this the update? So he is still at large currently?
Is it the same incident?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I guess so. Guess that dude made it out.
And is
I mean,
this a
they'll probably
prior
find him
mugshot that I'm
eventually,
looking at? Am I looking at a prior mugshot? Does he have a history of doing this?
I
Looks
mean,
like
he's not
a
in
driver's.
uniform or anything, so it's not like a uniform picture.
It looks
So
like a
I
driver's
imagine-
license photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be that too.
All right. The subject is believed to have fired 2 AR-15 style rifles at 3 officers, and his criminal complaint document says that he was in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves for 5 years. A blue alert was sent out to Texas phones just before 8 p.m. on Wednesday. The latest, Benjamin Hanil Song, 32 of Dallas, has 6 charges pending in relation to the ambush at the Prairieland Detention Center. Song is believed to have fired towards 2 correctional officers and 1 Alvarado Police Department officer. His charges are listed in a criminal complaint obtained by Fox 4 on Wednesday as 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer and 3 of discharging a firearm in relation to and in furtherance of a crime of violence. While others in the group of 10 to 12 lured officers out of the facility, the document says that Song was positioned in the nearby woods with 2 rifles from where he and at least 1 other suspect opened fire on the law enforcement agent. So I wonder if Song is the guy in the green mask. Do we know if it's Song or one of the other guys? The document says both rifles found afterwards in the woods were found to have been purchased by Song. One of the rifles was allegedly fitted with a binary trigger. They're coming after binary triggers next, which is used to double the rate of fire of a semi-automatic gun. The document implies that the device was likely an aftermarket modification. Well, if they're using Franklin Armory guns, they probably were using Franklin Armory binaries as well.
So they used a binary trigger and still only barely injured 1 person.
They
probably because
shot him in the
rifles weren't
neck. He's lucky. He's lucky, but yeah, binary does not make a gun more effective if you can't hit the target in the first place.
And somebody brought it up in chat, but there's a really good chance that none of these rifles were sighted in at all.
No, well, one was literally purchased 10 days before.
Yeah.
Had they even shot it, who knows, right? I would like to see a full picture of all the builds. Like, is it just bare bones, no sights, factory iron sights, a Temu red dot thrown on top? Like, I'm curious. I would like to see, Since the July 4th attack, Song has possibly been seen once on a DFW airport camera on Sunday. The document says that he is believed to have spent the night following the attack hiding in the woods near the facility. So he lasted 24 hours in the woods before sneaking away. The document notes that Song served in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves from 2011 to 2016, at which point he received an other than honorable discharge, which is not a dishonorable discharge, but not an honorable one.
I mean, that can be like, if it's not medical, I mean, that could be for... I think you can get an other than honorable for drug use. I think you can get it for like certain crimes, I guess, or like disciplinary issues. So I think those are the 2 most common reasons why you get an other than honorable. I'm not super well versed. I'm not a JAG dude, so I don't know. But that's probably, I'm guessing the one of the 2 reasons was either drug use or some sort of disciplinary issue.
Yeah, but that is a slight update. So we have 1 guy still on the run.
Probably the most competent of the batch.
Well,
Yeah,
he managed to get away.
The only one who actually has military training and a Marine, no less. So we know he is actually retarded.
We have a good segue into the
I wonder what he was in the Marine
Antifa
Corps.
pamphlets of the Dr. Carolyn B on Twitter. The link I sent you on Discord.
I got it here. What the Antifa killers were reading when they attacked the ICE facility. Just some light reading before bed. Let's see. What Antifa was reading when they attacked the facility. 2 radical anarchist texts were recovered from Antifa-affiliated individuals involved in an attack on the ICE facility on July... I don't know why they say July 7th. It's July 4th. Right? Or am I looking at the wrong one? No,
the court document was released on the 7th. The incident happened on the 4th. There was a bit of a mix-up there.
I see. These documents are explicit frameworks for militant action. They lay out how and why to dismantle capitalism and state institutions through force, sabotage, and permanent disruption. AK, this sounds like, wow, this sounds so liberating, but in effect, what you're doing is you're murdering unarmed guards that are coming out to check for, fireworks and vandals.
Yeah,
in
be like, what
lot.
the fuck's going on? Ambushing, just dudes. And also, like, it was a detention center, right? Yeah. I mean, those dudes might have not even been cops. They could have been contract workers.
Well, yeah, they were unarmed detention center workers.
Yep.
Now, detention centers, they hold people who have broken the law, right? Like a jail. This is like walking in and like murdering a clerk at your local jail because you don't like that people get incarcerated or something like that.
Yeah.
They are widely circulated within radical networks and form part of the ideological foundation of Antifa-style violence. Both texts are available from the Anarchist Library, a major archive for far-left revolutionary material. They are widely circulated within activist circles and frequently referenced by anarchist militants. Insurrectionary anarchy, organizing for attack. So this is one of the 2 or 3 documents. Oh, this is funny. Mary Nardini gang towards the queerest insurrection.
What?
I am sure that this listen to this sentence. I love this this newspeak. The perspective of queers within the heteronormative world is a lens in which we can critique and attack the apparatus of capitalism.
Words that were never in the Bible for 500, please.
Heteronormative. Heteronormative is my favorite word because it is simply normal.
Status quo.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
natural
that can reproduce set the standard. What?
The reason you're here in the first place, might I add. Heteronormative, my gosh.
I was attracted to a sock. What are you talking about?
How do these people?
You should have been put in a sock.
How do these people feel about January 6th? I wonder.
Oh, well, that was the bad one though, not the good one. That was the bad insurrection. that was like grandma's. That's bad.
Yeah, that was the heteronormative insurrection.
Heteronormative.
This is the queer insurrection, baby.
Yeah, so this is a quote from it. Attack is the refusal of mediation, pacification, sacrifice, accommodation, and compromise in struggle. Our struggle, bros, or something like that. There's probably a good book about that. We, the writers, see capitalism as a total system that must be brought down piece by piece through daily conflict. That's nice to know. They celebrate instability, sabotaging infrastructure, destroying workplaces, and disrupting daily life are described not as tactics, but as moral imperatives. Yes, you must destroy workplace and disrupt daily life because that is your moral imperative. See, this is like the satanic inversion of a lot of this theology, for lack of a better term. Where bad is good and good is bad. Like, well, they'll just straight up say it. Like the nuclear family is upholding fascist architecture or whatnot, so we must destroy that, right? So it's just we must do evil so that our world can be born. We want to destroy the capitalist order of the world, which is useful to nobody but the managers of class domination.
So I guess the meth addict who's been stealing copper from the power plant is the Antifa super soldier.
Actually, more effective. He is indeed the archetypal Antifa super soldier. Their hatred for capitalism extends to all social institutions, schools, families, labor unions, and even activist groups that seek reform. Everything that maintains order is seen as a target. The authors also reject any post-revolution vision. There is no plan to rebuild. Their focus is destruction for its own sake, just pure agents of chaos. We don't want a bigger slice of the cake. We want to blow the bakery sky high. I wonder why these people are disliked in modern society. Every moment can be the right one to attack. Any place can be the best one to strike. What is this? I mean, like, if you want just a more like straight up evil sentiment, where everything has to be destroyed so that your world can rise, and you don't even care what world that happens to be. You just want to so badly destroy whatever structure is currently in place. You just have to, I guess in this case, kill everything around you.
If you given me these quotes without context, I would assume that you've shown me Siege by James Mason.
Key takeaways. Violence is the only legitimate tool of resistance. Capitalism must be attacked in its material infrastructure. Formal organizations are viewed as collaborators. That's my favorite one. Permanent conflict is the goal. Yeah, we're this is a fascist. No. We're part of the fascist collaborators because we participate in society. So that 3-year-old in your little cart over there, that's a fascist collaborator because she's participating in the system. You see. So listen, I'm just gonna introduce a little anarchy and start killing people.
The janitor in the Christian elementary school.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but I do have to get off for the night.
No problem.
So
have a good night. Thanks for hopping out, man.
Yeah, of course. 3 quick things before I go. First, love the Lord your God with everything you got, all your heart, body, mind, soul, and strength. Everything means everything. You do not read this enough. Nobody does. Pick it up. And Luke 22:36. Other than that, gents, thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm going to head to bed.
Have a good night, man. Appreciate
Nick.
Nick.
Yeah, as Subarctic Psycho says, you have a job? ? Collaborator. Yeah, you're
society, cringe.
You have a family? Collaborator. You're not queer, gender fluid? Collaborator.
I think this logic is used in other parts of the world to justify killing civilians.
You know, it's an ancient Kabbalah that's been doing things for a long time. Yep. Seeds of chaos, destruction, destroying, or you could say that they're against the natural order of things. Right?
Yeah, it's been promised 3,000 years, if I remember correctly.
Listen, okay, this insurrection was promised to us. Let me pull this back up. All right. I mean, I do love these quotes, though. We're callous, cliquish, and dismissive of all critique. We cannot be reasoned with. Listen, if that's the game you want to play, fair be it. But I'm going to put money on my team, though, because I think we're slightly more competent. We're also capable of reproduction, which you're not. Our actions were often based more on ego and spectacle rather than strategic calculation. True. If that is not self-evident.
Truest thing said in this article so far.
But why does this quote then counteracts that almost immediately? Insurrectionalism must become more humble, more disciplined, and more strategic. But that's the thing is they all want to be like martyrs or something. Like they're actual wackos. The document proposes smaller, tighter cells, less public spectacle, greater attention to counter-surveillance, all to make anarchist violence harder to detect and dismantle. Permanent conflict continues to be our orientation, but it must be adapted. I think you should definitely take a cell phone with you everywhere you go and make sure to leave long, detailed voicemail messages to each other. I think that's a good idea. Certainly not going to result in you guys getting captured. But no, I mean, I might actually read this, the Mary Nardini gang towards the queerest insurrection, just because it might be funny.
I love the appendix of relevant queer mythology.
Source your life. Oh. As queers, we understand normalcy. Normal is the tyranny of our condition. Some would say the tyranny is self-imposed through your own demented ideology. Reproduced in all of our relationships. Yeah, you're mentally unwell, and reproduction and queer is not a term that goes hand in hand. Yeah, I mean, these people are just unwell. Wow, okay. The totality is fence post crucifixion. It is rape, murder at the hands of police. It is straight acting and no fatties or femmies. Well, that's self-report. It is queer eye for the straight guy. It is the brutal lessons taught to those who can't achieve normal. It is every way we've limited ourselves and learned to hate our bodies. We understand normalcy all too well. I mean, this reads like an edgy Tumblr post.
Tell me you're a man-child without telling me you're a man-child.
The face of the revolution. Are you afraid yet?
I'm definitely afraid. Not because of revolution, but because of that.
Yeah,
horrifying.
I'm not afraid. I'm more insulted, if anything else. Right.
I'm afraid that the Chinese are going to see this and be like, guys, if these are the people with the rifles behind every bush in America, maybe an invasion's actually possible.
Well, I mean, that might actually be like some of the, if you look at some of the funding for some of these groups, it might actually come from foreign entities, right? Sowing division on American soil, right? To cause division.
Hey, don't look at me.
Yeah, actually, Bucky's sitting there sweating. Not me, guys. Couldn't be me. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, sounds like Tumblrista Satanic Manifesto. Yeah. China's like, well, how did you topple the U.S.? Just waited. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. I don't know if we have anything more that you'd like to add to that before we finish up here, good sirs.
Don't be gay and don't do crime.
I was about to say, don't be
real. Yeah, don't be cringe. Let me see here. I did put this on the thumbnail. We never actually got to it, but I was going to talk about Rare Breed suing all of the other super safety manufacturers and stuff. So just for reference, I'm going to drop this link in the chat for you guys if you do want to actually check that out, because again, I was supposed to talk about it, but we just didn't get time for it. But yeah, they're suing like 20 people, and Mr. Stambala Law has a great video on it that you should check out. So go ahead and do that. All right. Sorry, but back to the what's a good one to end it on? Probably this one. Probably that one. Okay. Just a Gun Guy for 5 says, remember that alternate timeline where Trump was just a cameo in Home Alone 2 and not the president of the whole country? Epstein remembers. Yeah, Trump was Epstein's top guy.
Yeah, I think Macaulay Culkin remembers. That kid's pretty messed up.
Yeah. Look at some. I mean, listen. Hollywood and politicians have a lot in common, okay? Not being kind to children is one of them. Solo Order for 199 says, is there a black person here? Is there a black person here? I'm trying to say person?
Black person in here, yeah.
I mean, they're wearing black masks, so probably.
They looked dark at night. Absolute Moonman for 5 says, how does Folkstrip's wife get these things through the filter? Do you know how much unhinged shit I have tried to pay to post? Yeah, I don't know, dude. Some people can just straight up say the N-word in their YouTube super chats, and other people get denied for saying like a minor curse word.
It's because they have the pass.
Actually, I just pulled up a video of this like song guy. I forgot his name.
Something Wong, is that his name? Something Wong Song.
The real mystery is how SV89 managed to get a pass. I want to know what occurred to. Did he steal it? Did he say it in the hood like Peter Griffin, and they crowned him king? They respected him for it. Like,
I think so. Yes.
So it looks like this guy was legitimately mentally unwell. Let me post this for you real fast. Downloads. Where did it go? I just saved it. There you are. Boom. Boom. Update to a report. Benjamin Song arrested for aggravated assault during August 2nd BLM riots, as reported by a member of the far left Socialist Rifle Association. Yeah, SRA mentioned. Yeah.
Okay, this is big news. Time to write up a new intel report on the Dallas SRA.
Yeah, no kidding.
So is this the dude who?
Actually, here I have. Bucky also sent a photo of his outfit, his cute little outfit. You know, it's the poop color trans flag behind him and the little gay patch. What is that?
It looks like a flag, like or a
Gay
bandana.
flag on him.
Looks like
I
a
mean, this
tie-dye
is
bandana wrapped up.
yeah. This is probably what he was wearing on the 4th of July, just hiding in the woods, holding his little. It's funny that they have the little like gay patches. They act like it's a.
And he was arrested
rosary or something.
And he was arrested on August the 2nd, which was
for assault
last year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, for assault at a what was it? What did it say? Pride rally?
BLM
rally. Same thing. Come on.
Yeah.
Very tolerant.
Not a good look for Bucky's people, I must say.
Usually we calculate stuff better, but things have been slipping up lately.
Yeah. He's going to have a lot of time to learn about slipping and all sorts of fun stuff in jail with the inmates that he will have a great time with. Speaking of that, Logan Sucks at Shooting for Two says, don't forget to buy a guy and train with it. Well, listen, sir, I know that you might, wish that we could go out and just buy people, but that's outlawed, sir. We can no longer buy people. Okay. I would actually say that you should go out and buy a gun and then be competent with it. Although if you're watching this, I'm already preaching to the choir. But again, if you can just put shots on target, you're doing better than every left-wing pedo out there currently. So get out there and get better. Thank you, Logan, for the 2. Absolute Moonman for 20 says, for not a lot of money, I will take payment in the standard glowy DDM4s. I could make some of these people, after Todd does a peen check, competent. I could build a better quality Fed poster on a budget. Langley, call me. Yeah, Absolute Moonman, with his federal job, wants to do insurrection stuff, but they always pay the wrong people to do it. Moonman would do a better job than whatever Fed PSYOP guy they have working for him.
It's not worth it. USAID money dried up.
Yeah.
There's no more grants these days.
They all just disappear. Let's see. Huge ass for $4.99 says Trench is disappointed in his recruits' accuracy failures. I think he's out training new failures, right? I think he's training new recruits right now. It's just a little Freudian slip. Okay,
You heard it here first,
You know what?
guys.
He would tell you though. He would tell you they are failures until they pass. So
You heard it here first, guys. John hates veterans.
Moving on. Just Some Space Cowboy for 2 says no plan survives first contact moment. True, but that's they had no contact. They just shot and then freaked out.
Yeah,
like literally just they didn't do anything. Now I'm saying like too much. Anytime we cover gay topics, I say like too much. Everyday American for 5 says, do any of you guys 1911 guys? I don't know what's been going on, but it seems like my feed has been getting flooded with them. Hell, I even bought one. Yeah, why would you do that, sir? That's
why your
2025.
being flooded with them is because you bought one.
See, the shilling worked, or the propaganda worked, and because now that you have actually bought a product based off of your propagandistic algorithm, they're just going to keep shoving more of that stuff at you. You must consume, Mr. American. That actually is funny that your name is Everyday American as well, because it probably does work. Huge ass 109 says the Soy Boy remake of Heat sucks ass. Yeah, they'll get lots of practice at that at jail for sure.
Sorry to interrupt, but just looking at recently posted
breaking news
documents, the Franklin Armory rifle abandoned at the crime scene did indeed have a binary trigger.
I wonder, well, somebody said that they thought in one of the reports that it was aftermarket, but it might have been factory at that point.
Yeah.
Like now it's confirmed in the criminal complaint against Song that it's a binary triggered firearm, Franklin Armory FAI-15.
Let me see if that comes with a binary trigger. FAI-15, you said?
Yeah, Fox Alpha India.
15. Okay, Franklin Armory, classic firearm.
Yeah, it's Franklin Armory something.
Oh yeah, I'm looking.
I have it right here. Oh, this one comes with a binary.
Includes BFS, 3 binary trigger, factory installed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
No sights, binary trigger. Yep.
What's the
Ready?
sites on it?
No
1,000
sides.
bones is not bad.
No sides, binary checker. Ready for the streets.
Yeah, he's ready to go, good sir. Let me back up here. What tab was I on? Gosh dang it, I have way too many tabs at this point. We'll go here.
It's a
Going up
separate
in the
and new
wrong
criminal
one.
complaint that I can't pull up directly right now.
That's fine. Thank you, Huge Ass, for the 199. Joe Daddy Gaming for 199 says, "Cop, just tell her the truth. I won't get mad." Winky emoji. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're gonna go do crime with a bunch of your buddies, you gotta make sure they're not gonna turn on you. Like, come on. But the fact that they folded with exactly zero pressure just says what type of people you're dealing with. Thank you, Joe Daddy Gaming, for the $2. Ivana Gobble Your Knob for 2 says, "Eyeball so hard they thought it was a nutsack."
Nice.
Thank you for the $2. Huge Ass for 199 says, "In Range TV's biggest fans." Yeah, they were definitely part of the 2A for all movement.
Gay.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Mr. Nut and Fancy. Absolute Moonman for 10 says, "Their sexuality only exists true in modern capitalist countries. If they get what they want, it will still be a regular normie cop or Fed disappearing them for the Workers' Party." It's true. These people are essentially tools, right? They're not actually going to affect real change. They're dissident people that will be thrown away the second they are no longer useful. Like, quite literally the second they're no longer useful. It's like the Queers for Palestine movement. As soon as you are no longer useful, you will be deported off of the nearest rooftop.
Yeah, out of the nearest helicopter.
Yeah, they give you one of these.
Puddle of Chud for 2 says, "All Soy Martyrs Brigade." Yeah, it is about as effective as you could think. Thank you, Puddle of Chud. Justin Space Cowboy for 5 says, "Can we find their employment records to see how many of them held jobs within the last 12 months? Those would be some interesting statistics."
They don't exist.
I
File not found.
They may have worked a few months out of the last 12, because that's how some of these guys stay on all their benefits, is by working like a dead end job. Like, they'll work at the local 7-Eleven or something for 3 out of every 6 months or something, so that they can maintain their benefits package. Right. That's it. Thank you, Space Cowboy, for 5. Yeah, Logan Sucks at Shooting says, "I'm assuming you missed the meme on Twitter about buying a guy and trading with it. It was a typo. The guy at Hard Pass 4 meant gun, and it blew up." Yeah, I did miss that. I didn't see that meme, but I'm glad that you're spreading the memeology here, sir. I hope you're having a good night.
Well, sorry to interrupt again, but I just sent a DM, a gallery of this guy. You can just pull it up while reading the super chats.
Yeah.
It's on antifawatch.net. Link.
I got it. Bro, are we sure this isn't Josh from the Discord?
Josh would never do that.
I don't know.
Funny.
What is this photo?
You have to defend Josh's honor right now.
Yeah, no, this guy doesn't have near enough muscle
Josh.
to be Josh.
Yeah, I was gonna say Josh is way bigger than this dude.
Yeah,
Josh
he does
is
look
cool.
Josh Wood, Chad Max, this man. Andrew Vachon, 499 says, "What did I miss? I was busy petting the dog and getting abused by my cat." That's the duality of pets right there. "Your food bowl is full, Archie. I will feed you to the eagles." Everybody says that until one of their pets actually gets harmed in some way, and then they're like, "Oh no, my pet, I love you so much."
Then they go
But when you
John
actually have
Wick.
them, it's like, yeah, exactly. The reason bald eagles are on the endangered list. Thank you, Andrew, for the 5.
Where did you just pull that magnificent Steven Seagal reference from?
I don't know. It's floating around in my mind somewhere. Absolute Moonman for 5 says, "It will be me. I will be arresting them for the Politburo, keeping the one that might be a chick." Yeah, you'll keep one as your personal boy toy. Your personal femboy, your state issued femboy. All right. I think that is everything for the night. So listen, if you guys see this man, you need to report him to the feds for your chance to win $25,000.
Well, make sure you
what would-
report it to the correct tip line, otherwise you don't get the money.
Yeah. So make sure you're doing, because I mean, listen, getting rid of this guy plus getting $25,000, like I couldn't think of a better combo than that.
What?
Listen, this face needs to be in bars with men who will do terrible things to him for the next 30 years. That's my opinion. So have fun with that, good sir.
What would be the irresponsible purchase of choice if $25,000 magically appeared in your bank account for turning in a violent felon?
Man, I'm going to be really boring. I would pay off a bunch of my little debts that I have from college and whatnot. And I would be like, oh man, because that would save me so much money every month. And I would just be done with it. That would be a big weight off my shoulders. Plus, extra cash every month. That's what I would do. That's boring, but that's what I would do. What about you? Bones? What are you spending 25K on?
Honestly, I would probably just put it into my house. Like, just update a bunch of stuff, renovate some things, need new windows eventually. So that's also a boring answer, right? Gotta, not buying nods with it, not buying, 30,000 rounds of ammo. But that's probably what I would do with it. What about you, Bucky?
The answer is obvious. Several low-end AR-15s, a whole bunch of Condor plate carriers, a second-hand minivan,
but what do you do with the other $20,000 though, Bucky? Come on, you're only like 5K in at that point.
Obviously, go to a buy here, pay here, and spend it all on a V6 Camaro.
There you go.
Real, yes.
I think I would probably take the 25 and buy several acres of land out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you do that.
I
would like to buy 1/4 Bitcoin. I was just making a joke about Bitcoin.
I would probably find my nearest Applebee's, if there are any, and get 25,000 dollaritas.
Dude, that's
awesome.
like that's 5 a day for the next 8 years.
Yeah, it'll last me a couple months for sure.
Fucking McGill.
He's more margarita than man now.
All on black. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the local casino and double my money instantly. Put it all on black.
Andrew's sending me a picture of his messed up cat. Actually, I'm gonna post that because it's cute. Some people have cute pets. What can I say?
Speaking of rewards and things, when we close out, can we go ahead and push people?
We'll take a look at it. But I want you guys to see this evil psychopath of a pet. Not this pet, because this dude is about to become somebody else's pet, but a real pet. This murdering psychopath. Chuck McGill for $4.99 says, LMAO, these sub 70 IQ pavement apes are going to get graped in prison now. Why would you use a binary instead of an FRT? Speaking of, any feedback on AUG FRT? I've never used an AUG FRT, but I mean, they're probably fine. I don't like the AUG to begin with, so making it FRT doesn't do anything for me personally. But I think the reason why they use binary instead of FRT is because they are tards and they bought a factory Franklin rifle that had a binary in it because they were like, binary make gun go fast, so that'll make me more effective, right? It did not make him more effective. And in fact, it probably induced a jam because he had no idea what he was doing.
Franklin Armory binaries might be the new Daniel Defense.
I actually think we're going to see FRTs and binaries start showing up in and suppressors as well, showing up in police, big cases or whatnot, because that's what they want to crack down on.
Yep.
I think they would have been better off with non-binary triggers. Personally,
I think binary trigger is an offensive word.
Me too.
Yeah. Saying binary is a binary trigger for these people.
They bought it because it fit in with their ideology. The binary.
No, a binary trigger wouldn't. All other triggers would because they're non-binary.
Yeah.
It's bi.
Get it right.
Yeah, but even bi implies a binary, which is antithetical to their worldview.
Depends if they're the new three-way bi.
That's advanced LGBTQ plus IAP thing.
Richard's like 40 chess on us right now.
That's too high level for me.
Richard is not thinking satanically enough. He doesn't have the right mindset right now.
I'm trying.
Speaking of satanic, Goislop Actual for $4.99 says, "Oi, Kavalt, this guy cooked me and my family fried rice at Benihana."
Jesus.
I mean,
Oh,
he
the
might have actually
horrors.
done that. So this is was this the day before he assaulted somebody? That's funny. Thank you, Goislop Actual. What a great name. Andrew Bashan 499 says Archie lost half of his face to a raccoon. I then ventilated 42 of them in 3 weeks as a response. Well, that'll do it. $4,000 that surgery cost. He does have a 6 scar though. Yeah, I mean he looks angry. He looks like a cat that would have a scar. It's got a cool story though.
Very
Villainous
soon,
cat.
I will be up to help you with the raccoon.
The ventilation
extermination
process. Yeah.
Very soon.
Just don't shoot possums. They eat ticks. So if ticks are bad in your area, keep those around.
They also eat chickens, baby chickens.
Possums do?
Well, keep your chickens locked up, homie.
Yeah.
Safe chicken storage laws. That's what we're implementing now. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta keep those guys locked up.
Possums are good. There's a million things that you could point to. They're great. They don't carry or transmit rabies.
Damn.
Fantastic animals.
Dude, I see possums when I go on walks at night, and they just like follow you around for a while.
I'm just curious.
Those curious little guys.
Oh,
They're the only U.S. native marsupial. Come on, guys. Huge Ass 189 says North American pavement apes or jeets. Well, here's the thing: we already have Napa, so I don't want more of the other thing to balance it out. Okay, we got our own problems.
You go far enough north, and Canada has it. So.
Yeah, nobody wants to end up like Canada. Come on, gentlemen. All right, guys. Actually, no. Richard wanted to take a look at this thing.
No, I just wanted to.
Video?
No, I just wanted to push people over there. If you have the ability to.
Well, I mean, we've mentioned it a couple times. We're not going to do it for too much longer because I'm just gonna force people to. Here it is. So listen, guys, there's this thing called the 4 for 4 challenge. If you're on our Discord and you post the best time, which I'll drop our Discord link in the chat for everybody, not the join link to the stream call. That would be awkward.
Oh no!
You do have to be able to figure out how to pass the TARD test and get through the proving grounds.
But here's the thing: if you guys do manage to figure out the simple one question answer, you guys can. Oh shoot! It's moving too fast. Stop moving! Stop moving! Stop moving! Did I get it?
It is pretty hard though because you do gatekeep the server. I've been reliably informed.
I post the link like basically every stream, and then people can't figure out how to answer a singular question correct. Hey, there's one thing that can get the server nuked for all of eternity. Don't do that thing. That's it. Congratulations. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, Wendy's 4 for 4, Joel. Smallest burger they offer, whether it's the junior or whatnot. Small fry, 4 nuggets, 16-ounce Sprite, medium Sprite. Finish all of it. Shoot 4 rounds on target under 40 seconds. I'm putting up $100 for the fastest time, which is currently done by Hawkeye here. And then Vintage Warfare is also putting up another $100. There's a $200 cash prize on the fastest time starting now.
By a word that is disgusting.
All right. So this is Hawkeye at a range.
Firearm in this video.
So he eats it's medium vintage dollars that you guys can
Warfare challenge. Warfare to the side there. One of the two. Has on table. Table's filthy. Jesus.
Backhand.
All right. Down for the timer. Give me a beat.
And he's got my poisoning.
It's disgusting. Every time I get a little shiver.
Oh, and the Sprite.
Yeah, the Sprite filling up with mayo.
With mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's disgusting. I did not notice that. That's a Freddy Krueger real.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This video.
Anyway, so this is the stream of us watching a stream. Yeah, it is very rough.
It's a meta stream.
There's also additional challenges that are being added monthly by Logan.
You just have to be in the Discord. Just go to the Discord, okay? Go to the Discord, actually sign up, and do answer the one question correctly, so that you're not a tarded spurg, and you should be entered in. So just do that. If you can't figure it out at this point, I cannot help you anymore. I am sorry. We've done it for like 2 months at this point. But yeah, so that we're all clean up. We're gonna move on from that. Jake, what do you got coming up, homie?
Literally nothing except for work and hanging out with you guys right now. So super fun. I appreciate you guys having me.
I'm just really disappointed in you, Jake, being a constructive member of society and attributing to the to the patriarchal system that's keeping us queer folk down. You know.
Yeah, I do be working. I do be oppressing the queers.
I'm just gonna randomly have to kill you at some point. I guess that's the solution.
That's fine.
You know, I think that's reasonable. Bucky, what do you got going on other than making slick videos for everybody?
More or less just churning out the intel reports, and there's no shortage of information or topics to cover.
Hell yeah. Keep it up.
Especially as summer kicks up.
I am going to post your link again in the chat. Go check him out. That is Glow So Bright, who, it's a great source for compiling information and putting it into consumable sections.
And if you're sick of listening to communists, check out my report on Elijah Miller, who was arrested at No Kings rally in Nashville.
Yeah, that video was hard to get through, man. That was rough. I think I sent you a message that I almost died bench pressing because I was listening to that video while bench pressing, and I just started laughing mid-set during just one of the tirades on there. And so I'm laughing with a bar on my chest, and I'm like, okay, well, if I have to end, this is an appropriate way to go. Bones, what do you got coming up, sir? I know you're going to be gone for like a month.
Yeah,
you're going to miss
so
your shapely form on stream.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody will miss me. No one. We have NTC coming up for Army dudes. They know what that is. For non-Army dudes, I'm gonna go play like the worst possible deployment that's meant to push my shit in for a month in, I think, Death Valley, California. I leave on Saturday, and I'll be gone for a month. So the goal is we're going to upload a video, hopefully tomorrow. I'll get it done. We're going to go shoot a little bit of B-roll for it, and I'm going to have it all finished, uploaded tomorrow. And then the goal is hopefully figure out something I can do to upload while I'm gone, like halfway through, so I don't get completely left behind by the algorithm. But that is...
No, you gotta give me access to your channel, and I'll post a couple videos on there for you.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, I'll send you my login, or that Richard can do it.
Yeah.
And if anybody, if I'm gone and Flux releases the RXM chassis, I'm gonna be on suicide watch. If anybody has a contact at Flux, I will do things for a review copy. We'll just leave it at that.
You heard it here first.
Hey,
well,
yo.
listen, I have a detention facility in your AO that you could help me do some creating some noise at.
Create some noise,
in the night. We'll just, if you could like drive a van. Some people are going to call it a getaway vehicle, but if you could just do that for me, it'd be cool.
Oh yeah, that sounds reasonable. But yeah, that's what I got going on. Video on another video on PCCs is gonna drop. So hope everybody's ready for that. And other than that, check on the boys, Kings. Make sure your homies are okay.
Yeah, 100%. Richard, what do you got coming up, good sir?
Well, I have a whole bunch of clips that are going to be coming out over the next probably week over on the Clips channel. So if you guys could go over and subscribe and watch those, that would be great. I'm dropping the link in the chat right now to go over there and do that. So if you guys could do that, that would be a huge help, and I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for all the support you guys give. It means a lot.
100%. And yeah, let me see. I'm trying to see if my buddy is going to send me a link to a channel, but I created a new channel with two other gentlemen. No, don't worry. I created a new channel with two other gentlemen, Christian from the Brass Facts crew and James of Compulsive Gun Buyer / Meteorite Concepts. And we are going to be doing weekly theology and Christian topics, so to speak. So it's going to it's going to be more focused along that. And now I am not going to be the main character over there. It's going to be James and Christian. I'm going to be the more newbie focused person, I suppose, on that panel. So we have a Presbyterian and a Catholic, and then I'm kind of the third party person. So that should be fun. Then I don't have a link to the channel, but it was created today, and we should be streaming in the next couple weeks. So look out for that if interested. Other than that, I got lots of videos coming out, at least 3 more on this channel this month, like 6 more on Gun.Deals this month. I'll be out of town for a couple weeks, but I'll still be streaming from home. But yeah, that's just about everything, gentlemen. I do want to say thank you so much for everybody hanging out, for watching, for supporting. It's a great honor that I don't have to have any sponsors or affiliates or sell my soul to shitty companies. Instead, I just get to hang out and talk to you guys, and I appreciate that far much more. So I appreciate that very much, gentlemen. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. God bless.